Lovely, lovely. Welcome in, Raiders. Lovely to have you here. Hang on, we're going to kick off to start music again. We'll be right back. But get ready. We've got a lovely, lovely, fantastic, phenomenal streamer on the books ready for you tonight. It's fine. It's fine, I promise. You know, when things just don't want to work the way they're supposed to work, it's fine. It's fine. We got this. You know what? It's all right. It's time for the music to have stopped anyways. Had it done its thing right, so I don't care. It's just fine. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. You know, a bit of scuff doesn't hurt anybody, and is it really a good stream if it doesn't have a bit of scuff in it? I hope you guys are ready. It is that time. That's right. It is Talk Tuesday time. Now, normally, we used to do Talk Tuesday every Tuesday, but now we're doing Talk Tuesday every other Tuesday. Unfortunately, we have had two Talk Tuesdays back to back, but circumstances prevailing what they are, it's just fine. But this is our scheduled Talk Tuesday time. It is Tuesday, and we are going to have a lovely conversation. Did I tell you about tonight's special guest? I didn't. How shame. For shame. You want to know about tonight's special guest? I know you're dying for it. Are you excited? So special. Right. Oh, sparkly. Are they a sparkly vampire? You'll have to ask the questions and find out. You want to know more about them? You'll have to find out. You'll just have to stick around, ask some questions. Really? Wow, really? Startup music? Go away. Where's that event at? Come here. Just turn you off. It's a pain in the neck. It's fine. There. Just turn those off, and we'll make certain nothing else is going to start. Tonight's special guest. Ooh. Tonight's special guest can be found lurking in the shadows, both as a big supporter and a vocal talent in Redeems. They stream a variety of games when the mood strikes, but they're still far better known for their ruthless efficiency in killing crewmates and swatting bots. Mining and crafting isn't quite out of their wheelhouse of expertise yet, but not to mention that they have a voice. And I tell you, this is a voice that has sent a fair number of streamers running to cover their heads and turning a blazing red. Both as a mod and as a streamer, their talents know absolutely no bounds. So, don't just sit back and take my word for it. I'm telling you right now, we're going to dive right on into this phenomenal example of what happens when you let a voice talent run wild. Presenting tonight's delight for your ears and a special treat to add to your stream schedule, the fabulously delicious and oh so easy to consume. That's right. Tonight's special guest, Imperasis, aka Liam. Welcome, my friend, to Talk Tuesday.
Hello there. What a quaint intro. How tame and mild.
What exactly? How dirty did you want it to go? I mean, we try to keep this at least a little friendly.
I mean, Nori, what's a little bit of feral between friends?
It's a whole lot of questions. That's what that is.
As long as we keep our socks on, it's fine.
Is that how it works? You got to keep your
Yeah.
socks on. See, Com never made that statement. Com was always really quick to try to get the socks off. I'm like, why, Sam? Leave the socks alone.
Who needs socks when you have friends?
Right, exactly. For those of you new around here, this is Talk Tuesday. The voice you're hearing right alongside of mine is our guest tonight. We're going to get started on this. There is a channel point redeemed down there that lets you guys ask questions. The questions will get filtered through me. You don't need to worry about trying to keep up with them, Liam. Would you prefer Liam or Imperasis? Which do you prefer?
Call me Liam. Everyone usually does anyway, so.
Well, everybody has their preferences.
I know. I just say Liam because it's easier for people than my username, because Liam is easy to spell. Imperasis is a made-up word, so everyone usually is like, how do I spell you? What are these consonants and vowels doing?
Okay. To be fair, my name's not really a made-up word, but it is smushed together a pair of words spelled really badly, and people still mispronounce that one all the time. So I get you.
I did the same thing with Imperasis.
Just I took a couple words.
I took the words Imperator and Pisces. Oh, save it.
Save it. Gotta save it. So as the questions come in, they'll ask the questions, and I will read them out to you. So try not to get too panicked when you see chat flying by, because that's the thing that happens. We do this because I like to filter the questions as they come in, because we are not going to be asking things like, what's the digits for your credit card numbers? I'm sorry, Zoda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is all you get. You have to figure out the rest on your own. It's just a thing. But I try to make certain I filter a lot of questions that come through here. Now there may be some questions that slide underneath the radar, i.e. I look at them and go, I don't see anything wrong with them, and I ask them. When those questions hit and you're like, no, we really don't need to be talking about that, feel free to say no. We'll skip the question, move right on after that. There's a little puzzle that gets done, exclamation puzzle. We'll get it so that people can jump in and do the puzzle and join in. Beyond that, it's you and me for the next 3 hours.
That's going to be so romantic.
We get to know all the deep, dark secrets that you have to hide and are willing to share.
What if I just rest my hand on top of yours, Nori? Like, what's stopping us right now?
If you can manage to do that from where you're located at and where I'm sitting at, then more power to you. I will sit here very comfortably and let you do
it. Imagine how jarring that would be, though. You're just sat there at your computer, you feel my hand on top of you, you're like, where the fuck?
I wouldn't even question it at that point. I'd be like, okay, this is my night for the night. Let's go. Yeah. I've had worse. So, but if you've got no other questions, I don't think chat has much of any sort of questions. It's getting steamy so early. You have no idea, Greenie.
Oh, we can get much steamier.
Well, we try not to get too steamy on this, though we are setting up a very feral chat podcast. If we can,
you want to know how to get real steamy? You close all the windows and put on a pot of boiling water. That's how you get real steamy.
I find just turning the hot water on is enough.
Oh, you know what? You're right, Slay.
right? Like why boil the water? That's just too much extra work. Just turn the sink on. I can go into the bathroom, right, and just turn the shower on. Like yeah, steam. Ooh, baby. Um, but without any further ado, my friend, let's move on to where's it at? There it is. Welcome to Talk Tuesday.
What a glorious picture.
Right?
I'm
It's
so glad I sent it
fantastic. Slay. Um,
Slay.
right, exactly. So, and I was stopping you about the whole name bit because you have four questions that you have to deal with, right? That I get to ask and nobody else gets to touch. Um, and so the first of those two questions is always the origin story of your name. So you were starting into that. I'm like, whoa, we haven't even gotten into that one. Chill out, homie.
I'm just sorry. I didn't mean to just fly off the handle, Lori. You know, I was just so
I
excited.
know you were excited, but you got
I
to
just
take it
can't control
slow.
myself when it
You
comes to
got to take it
exposition around you.
slow. You gotta take it slow, man. You can't rush into these things. Take your time. Enjoy the experience. It is worth every minute. I promise. We can do this all night. Look, I have been on these calls with Con before. We can do this all night long.
Don't make me a threat if you know I'm going to follow through on asking you to do it.
Uh, so
So you want to know about the name?
all that being said, yes, we're gonna get started. We're gonna so people are gonna ask all kinds of questions. We will try to avoid giving away too much of the state secrets. You know, you gotta
Oh yeah,
girls gotta have some kind of held tricks, right?
yeah, exactly. I gotta remain an international man of mystery. You know.
Right,
Oh, I shouldn't have said
exactly.
international. People need to know I'm not from America. Gasp.
Look, I can't say if I blame you. I wouldn't want to be from America either. So there you go. America. Oh God,
America.
no.
Fuck yeah.
Y'all just don't know what it's like down here.
Oh, listen here, partner. I got a rough idea going.
You're gonna have to work on that one a little bit more. Of course, mine's not any better, so I don't have any room to talk. It's fine. It's fine. I promise.
It's fine.
But yes, we'll go ahead and get this journey on the road. So you can go ahead and finish your story about the origins of your name since you already started into that one.
Well, I'll go into a bit more in depth about it now, since it's a full
Yeah,
question. So
yeah.
when I was a young wee lad and I hopped onto Xbox Live for the first time, I joined a Halo Reach clan. And after a while, and after a lot of schisms that occurred between different groups in the clan, the leader turned to me and was like, "Hey, you've always kind of been on my side, but you're also not a yes man. I would like you to be my third in command. Pick yourself a very fun title." And I was like, "What do you mean a title?" And he goes, "Well, for example, I'm the Regulant. The second in command is the Praetorian. What do you want to be?" And so I took the words Imperator, which were my Halo Reach rank at the time, and I
Mm-hmm.
took the word Pisces, and I just kind of smashed them together until I got a weird jumble of letters that made the word Imperasis. So if you separate it out, my name is literally Commander Fish.
Sounds about right.
And yeah, ever since then, pretty much everything I usually go by that name. Where I can get it anyway. There's sometimes where like it'll be locked or something and I can't get it.
I was gonna say I'm not certain how that name would ever be not available. There are some names that are definitely you're like, okay, yeah, that one will get taken real quick. Uh, but names like Empiricis and like my name is almost never taken.
You'd be
They're just too
surprised. Like
weird.
there's always going to be a chance someone's just going to smash their keyboard and the jumble of letters that they get back is my name. But no,
I doubt
be,
that.
on when it comes to like interacting with folks on Twitch and stuff, I usually just say, "Hey, I'm in your chat. Just call me Liam." It's usually far easier and a much nicer thing to try and spell out if the like, for example, if someone like say Saphira is raiding into me and doesn't know how to spell my
Hmm.
username, which happened. But yeah,
You know,
that's usually what I do.
it's still a fun thing, right?
Yeah, like
Now,
it's still fun. Like,
I'm curious. Now, is Liam just like a regular nickname for you, or is that something you go by in real life as well?
it's my actual name. Well,
Okay.
it's the Irish version of my actual name because my actual name is William, but no one
Right.
calls me that.
No, no,
Not,
no,
not,
no.
not a single member of my family, not any of my friends, no one calls me William. Unless I've done something egregious. And then they're like, all right, young man, you're about to get reprimanded so hard right now. I'm busting out not only your first name, but your two
Oh,
middle names and your
look,
last name.
look. You ain't got to tell me anything about that. I always know when I get in. So I've got my name's like a mouthful for Puerto Ricans, right? And so when I get in trouble and I hear my whole name, yeah, that's oh nope. I'm looking for the nearest hole to go bury myself in.
I've only
Um,
had two people ever say my full name. My mother being one of them, and her mother being the other. And to be
it's one of
fair,
those that's like
I was
instinctively
being a
you
little
just go
shit.
hide.
I didn't hide. I just turned around and went, "What?" And they're like, "How dare you?" I was like, "I don't know what I did. You haven't explained. You just said how dare." But
Um,
yeah, no, I go by Liam in real life,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so I usually
that's a
encourage
nickname.
people
So
to, yeah, it's the literal translation of my name, and so I usually tell people, "Hey, call me that." It's like I'll respond to it quicker, and it's easier for people to say and get like
yeah,
out of out of their mouth real quick.
well, that's fair. I mean, everybody's got it. Yeah, we call those nicknames. Yeah, those that's fine. It's
Yeah,
interesting. Because I don't. So, like a lot of people I talk to, right, don't normally use their even like a real life nickname for uh in Twitch or let that like be shared around. Um, I always find that fascinating. The ones that are like, no, it's fine. Like Roarsicle, Baby Chumpkins, and there's a third one, and I can't remember who's the third one, but they all go by Rachel, right? And they're big. They'll let you know, like, yeah, it's Rachel. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, there's a number of individuals on Twitch that I have met. They're like, yeah, here's the name that I go by. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
and they share that. So it's always been fascinating when I run into somebody like, yeah. Here's my name I use in real life. Now, to be fair, I also go by Nori in real life. Like everybody around me calls me Nori, um, online, offline. It's just been a thing. So
yeah. And
I
like
don't.
for me, it's always been the case of like, I'll give you my first name. Like I'll always be like, "Oh, call me Liam." And then if
Mm-hmm.
I really trust you, I'll be like, "Oh, here's my here's a fun fact. My middle name is this," and they'll be like, "Oh my god, that's incredibly Irish." And then it's only if I get really really close to someone, I'm like, "All right, here's my last name. You can call me my last name. It's fine." Um,
Here's the way to get all the way through. Here's the
yeah,
government name. If you really needed that for any
that's how you know if
particular
I
reason.
trust someone. I give them like that level of because to me, like being that we're all online and
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you're growing up, your parents are always like, "Oh, you can't trust strangers online now. You can't trust strangers."
Oh, you
For
can't.
me, showing the way that I
Commander
trust
Fish.
someone. Yeah, I saw that, Commander Fish. How's it going?
Yes.
But for me, showing that I trust someone to such like an intimate kind of degree, I'll usually
Right.
give them my like I'll tell them what my last name is, and that's usually me being like, "Hey, I trust you wholeheartedly. Here you go. Don't fucking tell
Yeah.
anyone."
Yeah. You're a cool bean. Here you go. You can have a little bit extra information. I find it interesting. So I don't have a big issue with people knowing my first and last name just because for me my first and last name are about as generic as being named John Doe. like you could search my first and last name up, and it would, like, Google would come back with literally millions of people with my name.
That was
So
a good one, John Smith.
yeah, like, okay, go, yeah, sure, you can have the name, whatever. Doesn't do you any good. I usually get a good chuckle out of it. Like, I'm like, yeah. So I always, it's a fascinating thing.
It's funny as well, because for me, if you know my first and last name, there's still no real concrete way to find me, because I can tell you that there's at least 4 people with my name from my area of the country alone. And 3 of them are related. Me, my father, my grandfather. We all have Liam as our first name.
Right.
And even then, we're not even the first 3. I'm the 13th of my name.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. No originality in the Irish. What can I say?
Okay, look, from the Puerto Rican side, there's not any much more originality either, since I share a name with every single uncle and grandfather down the entire family line. And my father has no middle name. It's always funny when and he was military, right? So we would, every time they were reading out something for him for like an award or something, it would always be so and so, no middle name, last name. And you're like, wow, you really had to put that in there, right? You just couldn't like no, that had to be in there.
It's funny for me because whenever I visit my father, his wife will reprimand one of us if we make a bad joke, but she'll always start with Liam, like, try to get our attention, and the 2 of us will turn, and then she has to clarify which Liam, so she'll be like Liam middle name for whichever one of us it is, and it's always funny. It's just small things like that make me happy to have the same name, because it's annoying
Right.
for other people to try and get around.
Oh yeah. That's yes. It was always, those are always some of the best little stories, right? Like, okay, Liam, and you're at family reunion, and 4 or 5 heads all turn around like, yeah, son of a bitch. Well, it's like going to a family reunion on my father's side, right? They'll yell Edward, and like legitimately every male member of the family, we all turn our head. Everybody has Edward in their name. Like, good luck. You've just got every male member of the family that's standing there. Everybody turns their head around like, which one of us you want?
For me, it's also the curse of, like, so the anglicized version of my name, the English version of my name. When I hear that, my head still turns. Like, even though no one calls me, there's always going to be that one person who will call you a slight variation of your name.
Right.
And so when I hear that, I always turn. But I work with like 3 people who are all named William.
Oof. Yeah.
So someone will come into the room, and whether I hear the full name or just the end of it, I always turn, and it's never me that they're looking for. It's always like the other guy on the far side of the room. Like, damn it! I fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Shit, they got me this time. You've won this time.
It's like when they put their finger on your chest to make you look down, they flick your nose.
Yeah. It's like, la ha.
You fell for our ruse.
We'll get you this time. It's it's always like, now, so you've got a nice clean name, right?
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, I like here in the US we have Williams, right? And so I know a couple of Williams growing up, and they always went by the nickname, not Liam, but Willie.
Yeah.
And for us here in America, Willie is also another name for, well, I'll let your,
same here, no worry.
I'll let your imagination do finish out the rest of it. So it's always fascinating when somebody's like, yeah, they just call me Willie. And you're like, you really want to be okay? And then the jokes that happen afterwards, like that sets you up at some point. And I'm like, why would you, you know,
It's
Willie or
always
Billy?
funny.
Yeah.
It's always funny when I tell someone as well how like the name William changes, because like obviously you have the English version of it, and that gets
Hmm.
shortened down to uh, Will, Willie, Bill, Billy. And then some people will say Liam is a shortened version of it as well, but for me, it's actually in my native tongue, and that's
Right.
where Liam comes from. It's a shorthand of it in my native tongue. The actual spelling in Irish is Uilliam because we don't really use the W sound, the letter rather. We change. We have different letters that make the
Right.
W
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I go by the Irish version, and like my entire name, I could put into their Irish variants, and I sound like the most Irish man you'll ever meet. And then you hear my voice, and you're like, "Oh, he has a very neutral accent for an Irishman."
I I don't know that I would say a neutral accent, to be honest with you. I can hear it as you talk. You definitely have a tone down, but I wouldn't say neutral. Like I can hear the Irish in your voice, and the more you do, or you talk in your talk about like your name and whatnot, and you start bringing that up, that the Irish comes out really well. So
For me, it's like if you compare where I'm from in Ireland to what I should
mhm.
sound like, you'll hear that there's a stark contrast between me and people from that area. So I kind of trained myself out of my accent at a young age, uh, because I met Americans and English people online, and their immediate first reaction is, "Oh my God, it's an Irish guy. Let's get him to say the word three, but he can't do it because he's from Ireland. He'll say tree, or let's get him to say film, and he'll say film." So so you eventually just learn to go, all right, cool. I'm not playing this game. I'm going to make myself sound very either American or English, depending on who I'm speaking to, and you can't
Yeah.
stop me.
What are you gonna do about it,
Uh,
right? Right. Yo, brother
exactly.
Fjord, welcome in. Um,
Hey, brother.
it's one of those. I always find it really kind of interesting how people react to dialects. Right. That's some of
Yeah.
my favorite things. Is like I love listening to a good dialect. I love learning how to talk that way because a dialects like languages, right? And where you're at and the way you talk is a very much so a representation of the people in the community in your area. Words change, words are used differently according to the dialect and how people are expressing themselves, and so languages is a really fluid. It's a fun way of painting pictures with words to make ideas.
Yeah.
So
Like
I
100%
love
agree.
dialects, right?
Like if you want to hear diversity in accents, and I know I keep bringing it back to Ireland, but it's the best
Hmm.
example I have because it's where I'm from. If you go to Dublin, you'll find at least two key accents there. There's a North Dublin accent, which is the one that I'm meant to have, but I trained myself out of. Then there's the
Hmm.
South Dublin accent, which is they elongate their vowels and they sound slightly more. Uh, I don't want to say English because that's disrespectful to the South Dubs, but they're also from South Dublin, so yeah, I'm going to say English. Uh,
Hmm.
um, but if like they'll elongate their vowels, whereas North Dubs talk more like, "Yeah, right, buddy, yeah, you doing grand? How's it going? No worries, yeah, good to see you again." And then you go up to Northern Ireland, which is
Right.
less than a 2 hour car ride away. And because of the influence of Scottish settlers when they did the whole settlement of Ireland,
Hmm.
um, they have a much different accent. Like their accent is like, "What's happening? How's it going? You doing all right? Nice to see you again.
Yeah,
What's
it's a
found
bit
on your side?"
it's a bit
Yeah,
higher, a bit more energetic. But just listening to the two of them, right? It helps to paint a picture about who the person you're likely to talk to. Like your northern guy sounds a little bit more happier, more bouncier. They may be a bit more freer. They may be a little bit more happier or more uptight, depending on who you're talking to. The one with the little slightly lower, slower way of talking is going to be the more simpler version of the folks. They're more laid back, relaxed, and so the way you talk can help paint that picture, which is always kind of fascinating.
mm. And then like obviously you get differences as well, like between
Yeah.
countries that border each other. Like you have for example, you've got the countries in Eastern Europe that all border each other, and their languages are a key example of how different they are.
Yep.
Like you've got Polish and Lithuanian. They're literally next door neighbors, but their languages could not be more different from each other.
You're not wrong on that one.
Like, for example, I can tell you how to say, hello, how are you, I'm good in both languages. And you'll notice that Polish does not sound anything like Lithuanian, because the Polish version is like, Siema, so tam, dobrze. And then in
Right.
Lithuanian, it's labas, kaip sagas, gerai. And like, that kind of stuff really paints a picture for like how different those regions are.
Yeah. And it's, again, it's fascinating.
Mm.
Because I again, I'm a big study in language. I've learned Japanese now, Puerto Rican English. I'm working on Swedish. That's always a fun language. It's been a fun language. Japanese was hard to learn. I started trying to teach myself Chinese, specifically Mandarin, but that's a more tonal language, and you're not going to just
Yeah.
teach yourself based on reading like that. That doesn't work. Like,
Like,
ooh,
languages are fun to pick up, but depending on the language, I can struggle with it a lot.
oh yeah,
Like Polish, I picked up real quick, but then I tried listening to Ukrainian people speak, and because they speak a mixture of both Russian and Ukrainian, it's hard to get a beat on it. And it
right.
wasn't until last year I started being able to pick up both those languages. And apparently, because of how my accent changes when I speak them, according to the
Mm-hmm.
Ukrainians, I sound like I'm from Ukraine or Russia when I speak to them.
Well, that's entirely possible. Again, your choice of words, the way whoever teaches you, who's taught you how to pronounce the word, will also impact your dialect.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like there's
Um,
people from like Eastern Poland who will teach me how to pronounce a word, and then the West will be like, "Hang on, you're
yeah,
not from Poland. Why do you have that dialect?" And I'm like, "I don't know,
that's the
just
way
kind
I
of happened."
was. It's the way I was taught how to say that word. What do you want from me? It's just one of those
Uh,
things, you know. It's fine. It's fine. We know. Um, we have definitely taken a bit of a roundabouts here, just because I could talk about languages all evening long.
I'm so
But
glad.
what kicked you into starting streaming?
So I started streaming before 2018, if I remember correctly. I think it was 2017 and 2016. I started just streaming for myself, just because I was bored, and my friends were like, "Oh, what game are you playing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm playing this game from whatever year." And they're like, "Oh, I've never seen it before." And I was like, "Cool, I'll start streaming on Twitch, and you can go over there and we can watch it. Well, you guys can watch it, and I'll play it." And
Right.
so they started watching it, and then I met a few of my very good friends who uh, we decided, we try and get to at least affiliate to see if we could. It was
Right.
more of a challenge for ourselves. And so the four of us set out, and by I think it was 2018, I got to affiliate. And I was the first out of the group of four to do it. So naturally, I got bragging rights, and I immediately went, "I'm your king now." Uh, and I will forever hold that over their heads.
Oh, I
But
would. I would definitely.
I was like, "I'm the one who streams the most infrequently, and you all lost to me. How does that feel?" And they're like, "Liam, stop being so petty." Um, but
Oh
then,
no, I would be so right there, just like rubbing it in every chance. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
oh yeah, just a little bit of salt on the wound, you know.
Yeah,
Um, but no, so I was the first one to get affiliate, and then the other three eventually got affiliate as well.
well, that's
And I
good.
think out of the four of us, only one of us streams regularly, and that's my friend Adam, who streams every single day basically.
Right.
And he usually does like Destiny stuff, so like he enjoys it and he has a lot of fun. And he doesn't stream for views; he just streams because he wants to. And that's the kind of mentality I think a lot of people should have, which is I want to
Yeah.
stream because I want to have fun.
Well, as long as you're streaming to have fun.
Yeah.
There
Like
are
if you're streaming for a career, that's different. Like that's obviously your job now, and you treat it how you want to treat it. Or if you're streaming for some other reason, treat it how you want to treat it.
yeah. Well, I think it's also fair to go, so you decided you wanted to stream, and you could have started out as a hobby, and then it's turned into a career, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
Exactly. Like if you've been able to turn streaming into a career, like I'm incredibly happy for you, and
Yeah,
uh I
totally
hope
here to
one
support
day
that.
a lot of people
Like
can do that.
yeah, go for it.
Like
I-
slay,
yeah, right. Kill it. You got it. Way to
slay,
go.
slay your enemies.
Give me your soul.
You just remind me of the fucking Call of Duty line where it's like, fetch me their souls.
Right. It sounds Simlish to me. Who's not? I don't. That word. I don't know that word.
Simlish? Oh, as in like from The Sims. Which, funny enough, if you take any spoken language and then speak it in an American accent, apart from English, obviously, it does sound like Simlish. For example, if I was to start saying one of my favorite phrases in Russian, which is, this is a robbery, put your hands up and give me everything you have. If I said it in an American accent, it sounds like Simlish. Ruki Verk, это ограбление, a diamond, yes, yo. It's very fun.
It's like that doesn't sound like much of an American accent, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on, that's more of just a generic American. I got it.
Exactly. Like they're very generic in The Sims. They go like really generic. Stranger just said, imagine Nori making Simlish version of his songs.
No, I'm not even certain where I would even start on that.
I mean, that has to be like an April Fool's Day channel point redeem, right?
Yeah, I have no
100,000
idea what that
points.
would be. That needs to be like a miracle redeem. Like, yeah, you've somehow managed to collect an ungodly amount of points that you don't know what to spend it on. Here's something useless. I'm like, I'm not even. See, the problem here is I'm like, what could I guess? I don't think that would work so well with just any spoken language. I think you would have to really use it with specific ones, because like you couldn't do Japanese, like domo arigato, Mr.
Ohio
Roboto. Like,
gozaimasu. Genki desu ka? Watashi wa Liam desu.
but that doesn't sound Simlish. Like I think Russian would work really well for that. Spanish is not going to work so well.
If you ever want to mess with someone who speaks Spanish as like their native language, and you clarify to them that you're doing it to mess with them,
Hey,
the best thing you can do is talk in like what's the word I'm looking for? Like almost like a really proper West Coast like frat boy almost kind of accent. Drives them mad, especially when you over enunciate the L's.
Okay. I worked with a couple of gentlemen whose favorite thing is to regularly slaughter Spanish. Like this is all they live for doing. You want to talk about get under somebody's nerves that speak Spanish. All you have to do is go up to them and be like, yo, como estase? Gracias. So happy to see you. You're like, what in the hell are you? Oh my God, just stop.
There's a lad I used to work with named
Just
Juan.
no.
And I talked to him and I was like, oh, do you want to hear like one of my favorite ways to mess with a Spanish speaker? And he was like, please show me. I need to hear this. And so I turned to him and was like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. Me llamo Liam. Dude, you want some paella? You can get tortillas if you'd like. And he immediately told me to stop and was like, that was really funny, but never do that in front of me again. And I was like, that's fair. I respect it.
like that hurt the soul a little bit. I have. We're killing. Greeny's like, please, please stop. Please don't do that anymore.
See, I have a very special talent for being able to annoy people in their own language or in different languages. It's.
Right.
I
It's
recommend learning
fun.
something so you can annoy somebody. It's very.
It's well, it's just fun to learn a different language, anyways, right? I always recommend learning a
Oh yeah,
language, anyways, just because that opens you up to a whole new plethora of people that you can just walk up to and be like, "Yo."
it's one of the reasons I like learning languages is like living in Ireland. When people come here from like Poland, Lithuania,
Hmm.
Ukraine, Russia, whatever, they're coming here, and most of the time they don't have English as a first language. Some of them might not even have learned it in school, but they're making the
Right.
effort when they come here to pick up words and have a bit of vocabulary.
Yeah.
And so, if they're willing to do that, the least I can do to make them actually feel welcome in my country is learn a few words in their language. And it's also just very funny to watch someone be like, "Hey, Liam, that guy over there, you haven't met him yet? He's Ukrainian. He speaks Russian. Go over and say hello to him." And you go over and you say like, "Oh, привет, мой друг, как дела?" And they'll look at you and be like, "How do you know my what? You don't look Russian. You don't look Ukrainian. You're a ginger man."
Ah,
You-
you're a redheaded. What the hell? No, stop. My head. No. I get that, right? I used to work with a Japanese guy, and we would get into calls, and he would use Google Translate to convert whatever it was he needed to say for his daily check-ins into English, and then you could tell because he would just read off the page, and his English was atrocious. Um, and so it got to a point where I stopped and I started talking to him in Japanese, and it was like, just tell me what you want to say. And he looked at me because I don't look like, if you looked at me, Japanese is not on the face. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, it's fine. Just tell me what you want to say. And so we started right in the middle of this big work meeting. We started having this whole conversation in Japanese, and everybody else is just staring at us like, what's going on? Does anybody know what they're talking about? And so we get done. I'm like, okay, so what he had to say is this. Short, sweet, 5 minutes, we're done. And none of us had to listen to the painful bits of him reading American. And it was fun.
it's things like that that make me glad, like to be able to learn a language.
Right?
And another one as well is you can catch someone off guard super easily. Like I was telling a Lithuanian friend of mine about how uh, there's a Romanian group who will say hello to me. I was saying the conversation in a mixture of English and Romanian, being like, "Oh, this is what they're actually saying." And he goes, "Just to clarify, I don't speak Romanian." I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, let me translate." And he was expecting me to go into like full English, and instead I translated into Lithuanian, and he just stared at me and started laughing. He was like, "That was the last thing I expected from you." You
Damn
caught me
you.
so off guard.
Just fabulous, right?
Exactly. Like it's being able
Um,
to even speak a few sentences in another language
it's a
is
very
always
powerful
nice.
thing, and it's a wonderful thing that you can do, because it at least shows that you're willing to learn and be accepting
Yeah.
of another culture.
Yeah, and for me
Which
it's not that big it is actually a big deal for me because I'm not sure if you know about this. My language is in decline. Not a lot of Irish people speak it. And
Mhm.
so for me, when someone comes over here and they're not exposed to their own language a lot, I'm like, oh, well, I don't want them feeling that their language is in decline. So I speak what little I can to be like, hey, your language is still alive. There's some fucking idiots out here who are learning it, like me. And like that's the primary reason I learn languages is I like to keep
Right.
them alive. And if I could learn Irish to the same capability I have my like all the other languages I pick up, I would be happy. Because my Irish is very stunted compared to
Right.
everything else.
Well, but I mean, yeah, that, and unfortunately that does happen with many languages. They go into a decline state where there's not a whole lot of speakers of it. There's a bird language where people speak in whistles that it's on its way out, which is really a shame. It's a very pretty language.
Mm.
But I'm like, there's no way I could learn that. I don't have the time. B, I would have to go travel over there to these people, and like that's not happening anytime soon. But it's a fascinating language. I'm reading about it. We do have get a couple of these questions here that we got coming in here, just because I think some of these are relevant. I don't know how long they're going to stick around for, and I don't want them to miss out on your answers. Misfits would like for you to pretty please describe or explain the photo that you provided us to use.
So, I was at a D&D session recently, and there was a meme that went around last year, the year before, of a wizard sitting on a chair and pondering like a magical orb.
Mhm.
And one of my friends was like, Liam, the way you're sat right now with the hood up, you look like a wizard. Can I Photoshop you into that image? And I was like, sure, I'll ponder the orb. So I stared blankly into the distance, and then they're like, okay, cool, I'll just Photoshop that. And I was like, no, 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 you're also going to make me the orb. And they're like, what? And I was like, I have no hair. I'm perfect for an orb. So I did that face, and my friend Photoshopped it. And personally, I think it's fantastic. I love it.
It works
And
out
so that's,
well, right?
yeah. And it's become my profile picture as of Sunday, or yeah, Sunday. So I've been using it since then, and I'll
Well, I was
probably
going to
keep
say
using it.
it's not your profile picture on Twitch, because that's the one that's down in the corner just below.
Yeah, that's me photoshopped onto a pint of Guinness. Can you see me, Nori? Have you spotted me yet? The tiny
No,
me in a suit
but
riding a pint of Guinness.
I honestly I wasn't even looking at it. Like I've got two images. I'm like, okay, so that's the one that we're talking about. I'm like, but you're like, I'm like, that's not what's in your logo. I'm assuming that's what you're using for your Discord logo.
Oh
But
yeah,
no,
sorry, that's the Discord one.
I didn't look too deeply
The
at the
Twitch
other
one
one.
was a joke that started off when I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around the time that I started streaming for myself. I wanted to have like a pub theme going on for my channel.
Right.
And so originally I just had a pint, like 3 pints of Guinness. And then I was like, nah, people won't be able to tell that's me. I need to make it more unique. So I photoshopped myself to the pint. I pulled that up, and the amount of people they'll click on the channel and they'll follow or whatever, and then I'll point out, hey, did you notice the tiny Liam riding the pint of Guinness? And they're like, what? And they'll look and they'll go, what the? Why? What is this?
Like, why not? What do you mean? What is this?
So yeah, I hope that answers your questions about either the current picture from my Discord or the picture from my.
I'm well. I was assuming that it's the wizard one that was in question. But hey, Peridot, how are you doing this evening? Welcome in. Welcome in. For those of you new showing up here, struggling in on your first time, if you don't know what is currently going on, we are in the middle of our Talk Tuesday. Talk Tuesday is a segment around here we do where we interview somebody fantastic. Today's fantastic guest star is Imperasis, aka Liam, who's been regaling us with fascinating stories about languages, love, loss, and staring into his great crystal ball head.
I can see the future,
so
Nori. I think that's everything so far. Nori, would you like me to tell you your future? The soothsayer speaketh.
But yeah, if you got questions, hit the little point redeem down there. We'll get them. We'll try to make sure we get them all answered. We don't want to miss out any of them. We got a couple of favorites on here. Yeah. Rose would like to know what's your favorite flavor of toothpaste. I am assuming this has a backstory behind that one.
No, I think. Well, I don't know the backstory. I'm assuming AJ's just asking you to ask a question, or at least try and catch me off guard and make me laugh, which they did. So good job. Let's see. Favorite flavor of toothpaste. Now, personally speaking, I don't think I could go anywhere with. Wait. Can Zoda use Liam as a crystal ball too, or can only Liam use Liam? Only Liam can use Liam.
Well,
for the right price. Um,
Soda's got the magic touch. You never know. Soda might be able to use Liam.
ooh, so personally, I could never leave the house without a nice, delicious spearmint toothpaste, just to catch people off guard. Sometimes I'll throw in a bit of peppermint, really take them out by surprise. But it's difficult to pick just one.
Bacon flavored. I can't. I can't.
I could never do bacon flavored. I'd just be licking my fucking lips all day and be like, fuck no, there's no food nearby. I'm just looking like a freak.
Just like you just like bacon flavored. I would just be hungry.
Yes, that's what I wanted after I brushed my teeth. Starvation.
Thank you. Now I have to go into the kitchen and fry me up some bacon now, because that's all I taste is bacon, and I'm my belly's growling at me now. Great. It's a never-ending vicious cycle, right? Oh, I just ate. Now I gotta go brush my teeth. Oh, now I'm hungry and go eat some more and brush my teeth and son of a bitch.
Oh,
Like, how do you get
yeah,
past that? I don't know.
carefully. That's my answer for
Um,
everything. Whenever someone says, "How do you do something?" you always say carefully.
yeah, you know, I actually used to say very carefully. How do you do that? Very carefully. Um,
Exactly. It's the dumbest answer you can give them, and they'll always look at you and be like, "Haha, very funny." And you're like, "Yes, thank you. I'm hilarious. You're welcome."
I know. Yes, I have done you a service today. You're very, very welcome.
Finally, a kindred spirit who knows my struggle.
Well, I have taken as of lately to tell people when they're like, "How would you do about doing that?" And it's with time and great effort. Because apparently very carefully just doesn't work anymore. You now have to
Uh,
put some time and commitment into it. I'm like, all right, fine. You can have some time
it's
and
the younger
some.
generation, Nori. They've lost the touch. I say as if I'm not part of a
I
younger generation.
with style, darling, with style.
You gotta do it with a bit of panache.
Panache. You can always tell where somebody. I'm going to get back into languages, and we don't need to go back down that rabbit hole again just so soon. Give him the
I want
old
you to imagine.
razzle dazzle.
I want you to imagine every time you start going down the rabbit hole within the next 30 minutes. You know the scene from Airplane where they're trying to calm the woman down. That'll be me.
Yes.
Just coming up to you and like being like, "You're needed on the air in the cockpit." Wham, wham.
Calm down. Slap, slap, slap. Yes, thank you.
Camera
I,
camera pans down. There's a baseball bat, a pistol.
you do it with jazz hands. Panache.
Panache.
You just got to get in there and be very, very careful with it.
No,
Don't
you
squeeze
gotta be
too hard.
so
It'll get all over the place.
It's okay to take your time.
It's fine. It's fine, I say. So spearmint is your primary preference?
I'll be honest with you. I was just pulling flavors out of nowhere. If you want, I can go look at my toothpaste in the bathroom. It'll take me 2 minutes.
It's like, I don't know. It's whatever I bought at the store. It just works. I don't pay attention
I
to it.
I go in. I make sure it's not going to tear my teeth out by using it, and then I use it. That's the only criteria I have. If it tastes different, it tastes different.
Which is fascinating. Because I specialty get. I have to order. I order my toothpaste in from overseas, just because I don't like the American toothpaste. They are all like A, very sweet, and B, like for whatever reason, it's if it's mint, it's got to be so minty that it leaves itself lingering on your breath and the front of your face after you've brushed it.
Yeah.
Like it's got so much flavor. It'll kick your teeth down your throat. And I haven't figured that out. Like, I don't know why. So it's not necessarily Mr. Fancy Pants there, Brother Feared, but I don't like really strong flavored toothpaste. So I still have it's a It's a mint flavored toothpaste, but I order mine from Japan because it's probably the most mildest mint. Like it's just there to let you know that you've got toothpaste in your mouth, and it's a very refreshing, light taste. It's not. It doesn't want to send your teeth down the back of your throat.
Mm.
So
For me, like,
granola.
for me, it's just a case of like when I'm brushing my teeth, as like
Mhm.
I can use most toothpastes. There's ones that I don't like,
Mhm.
just for the texture. But like most of them, I'm fine with, and
Right.
I'll utilize any toothpaste at hand if I have to. So it doesn't bother me. Like it will bother me if it's like something really potent, where like after about 5 hours, I'm still gonna have the same fucking sensation. I'll be like, ah, okay, never using that one again. But for the most part, I don't really have an issue.
Well, see, but that's the thing, right? Like most American brand toothpastes are like that. Like you put them in, you brush your teeth, and they're still like stomping down everything that you put in your mouth. That's all you taste of that toothpaste. You ever tried drinking coffee after you brushed your teeth with one of these things? Like your coffee is now like the most mintiest coffee you've ever sucked in your mouth, and it's just like no, that stop ruining my enjoyment of my coffee in the morning. Damn you, toothpaste! Damn you to
Thankfully,
hell!
thankfully, I don't really drink coffee, so that's me very lucky there. But
Oh yes, orange juice after toothpaste, the absolute worst.
oh, 100%. I do like a
Um,
glass of orange juice in the morning, so
so yeah, so for me that's the reason why the toothpaste I use is yes, it's minty, but it's the most mildest mint flavor. Like I could drink water afterwards, and I would just taste water. It's and so
mm,
I'm happy with that, and that's the reason why. And it's not expensive toothpaste. Let's be real here. We're not talking like I'm spending, $20 for a tube of toothpaste. It is not
yeah,
that
it's
expensive.
1999.
No. It's more like $5, and I get them in a 2-pack, so it's like $2.50 a tube of toothpaste. So it's not bad.
That's not too bad. So, what are you drinking over there, Nori?
I'm drinking a Coke, if you really must know.
Ah, lovely. I heard the hiss as you opened it. I was like, it's
We
definitely a
have
soft drink.
watermelon flavored paste from Australia. What at the hell is watermelon? I have never heard of this flavor.
I I prefer Waterma Short personally.
you know, there I go again, pushing Parado's buttons.
It works ahead. I sure hope it does.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's
For your
fine.
toothpaste, short or long? I prefer my toothpaste the exact right length.
Hello, squirrel.
What a lovely duo. Hello, squirrel. Welcome in. Welcome in.
'Tis I, the Liam.
If you were scared before, just you wait.
Oh, it's gonna get a lot worse, buddy.
It's going to go downhill so fast.
Oh, you know it. Nori and I have actually cancelled Talk Tuesday. We've just been sitting here and pretending to have a Talk Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
We're
waiting
just
for
going
people
through
to
the
realize.
motions.
Yeah,
Say less. Just going through the motions. It's fine. It's fine. It's not
Say less.
really
I got you.
happening. It's fine. It's fine. I know the secret.
Secret this economy, you're crazy.
We're pretending to rush. For real, no cap. Absolutely no cap.
On God, for real, no cap, straight facts, no printer.
No printers. Absolutely. it's look. So there's an actual website that you can go and how do we end it? You don't. You're stuck with it now. There's a website
Listen,
that will
I can
actually
go full brain
convert.
rot if you want.
They actually made a website that will translate regular speech into Gen Z slang. It's actually pretty
Oh my
comical.
god, that's so Sigma.
Right? Skibbity. Absolutely skibbity toilet. I'm telling
Oh, that shit is straight out of Ohio. Sounds so it. All right, before I get summarily executed later tonight.
What are you talking about? We're both going to get executed for this one. It's fine. It's fine. Greeny would like to know if you were isekai to a world of swords and magic and you get 5 gifts or skills, what are they and why?
Right off the bat, the first skill I would request, if like assuming I'm requesting it from like a isekai god or something like that,
Yeah, something like
I
that.
would request language comprehension immediately. Right off the bat, I want to be able to understand the people of this world. And I don't want it to just be limited to the people either. If there's like monsters and stuff and they have their own language, I want that skill to kick in immediately. That way, I can hear things and be like, aha, I know that they're planning to mug me in 25 minutes. I better not be here.
Right.
So that's one, language comprehension. I don't want to be like immortal or anything because I want a challenge. So like just a slight increase on regenerative properties. So like, it takes me slightly less to recover from like a broken limb.
So slightly faster healing.
Yeah. I want to be able to pick up like if it's a world of magic, I want to be able to pick up magic. Like I don't want to be like a prodigy at it by any means. Like I'm happy if I get like to second level of like an 8 level system. That's me happy. So I want to be able to pick up magic, and I want to be able to. This is a good one. Either stockpile energy or stockpile mana. Because imagine if I'm stockpiling all that magical energy, and I get into a duel with someone who's like, "I'm going to challenge you to a duel of magic, boy. Use your lowest level spell." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I can put all of it into this one spell, all this mana, and this guy's gonna freak out."
Right, but that's assuming that magical properties works in a way that it's the more you can pour into a spell, the more increased that spell gets. If a spell is kind of locked at that point.
Yeah, I like to think it's I like to think that the only limitation with magic is how your mind is able to process it. Like for me, it's everyone looks at a firebolt, right? And they're like, okay, you just throw like a flaming mote of fire at someone. What's
Right.
stopping you from being like if it was real, what's stopping you from trying to condense that fire into a smaller bead of energy and just firing at someone? Like that'd basically be like a railgun going through them.
Well, yeah, but at that point you're talking about a different spell, right?
It's only different if
If
you want it to be different.
well, no. So if you're trained, let's stop for a second here, right? Because in order for magic to be repeatable, learnable, right, then there's got to be standards,
Exactly. But just because
right?
there's standards doesn't mean that's the only way to do the spell. You can have someone learn all the standards in the world. For example, at my work, we have work instructions, and that is
Yeah.
considered standards for my business. However, the work instructions will actually make you both slower and slightly more incorrect on manufacturing the parts. So the best way to do it is to learn the step yourself and actually improvise and adapt and overcome whatever challenges come up. For example, if you're getting a reject for this reason, you can find why that's happening, and usually it's to do with following the work instruction. And you
Yeah.
think, oh, why don't they just update the work instruction? People are set in their ways. That's why.
Well, yeah, people are going to be set in their ways, but I mean, for practical magic sort of systems, right? Again, I'm more of a technical minded mindset, so I deal more with science and electrical flows and that sort of thing. And we can go, okay, yes, so I could have a railgun and I could just throw more energy into the railgun, but after a point, there's a point of diminishing returns, right?
Mm.
You can pile as much as you want into it, but after a certain point, it doesn't get any bigger, it doesn't get any better, it doesn't explode anymore. Like physically, there's an upward limitations, and that's due to just the pure physical laws of nature that you're trying to influence. Now, whether that's magic or that's science, it's still going to have the same causal effect, right? You can only pour so much into that. So in a strictly theoretical magical system, right? These laws are there because you can only, like, a level 1 spell is a level 1 spell because you can only pour so much magic into that level 1 spell, and then that's it, right? It can't get any bigger. That's why like in D&D you have like level 1, level 2, level 3. That's why, fireball, I don't care what you say, I cast fireball. Fireball gets bigger, but only up to a certain point, and even fireball stops, right? Like, you can only pour so much magic into it. You're not going to make it any better. So stockpile, I get the premise behind wanting a stockpile. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm at this point, we're having theoretical conversations
Even
about.
if it's the case of you can't just overcharge a spell by pouring excess mana into it. It's the fact that if I'm stockpiling it, that means if I do get into like a long, drawn out fight, I will
You're
have
better
more
off for it.
reserves than the other side.
Yes,
So I'll
that
still take the mana reserves.
yeah. No, that makes total sense, right?
Yeah. And let's see, number 5. What could number 5 be? Uh, hmm. Assuming like I was a spellcaster in this world, which I would hope to be based on the stuff that I've just selected for the previous two. If I have to use something akin to like an arcane focus or a staff, I want the ability to summon that staff to me wherever I am, regardless of the situation. So, for example, let's say I've been imprisoned and they've taken away the staff. I want the ability to like click my fingers and it's back in my hand as soon as I'm behind bars. Because I reckon I could be an absolute bastard. I could be like Gandalf walking into Rohan and they're like, you need to give us your staff. So he's like, oh, you wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick, would you?
And then they go, yes, and I take it from you. And then, 2 seconds later, it's back in your hand. Like, you son of a bitch. Take that. See what I did about that.
I reckon those would be my 5. And I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
What would you pick,
Now,
Maury?
Me?
Yeah.
I have watched so many isekai videos over the years. It's really tough because I have my preferences of things, right? And most isekais, you end up in some kind of Fantasia style world where magic is more of a norm than anything else. Under those certain rule sets, I typically tend to play more of a melee based character than anything else. So I would be doing like strength and stamina, be a bit more awareness focused, survival. Like, if you're strong enough, you're fast enough, you can survive, right? Then the only other things you need to worry about are some kind of way to heal yourself, and then the other one is some kind of way to store things, and so that basically covers my five sets, right? I want to be strong, I want to be fast, I want to know how to survive, I want to have some kind of minimal stage of healing, and then something to carry all my stuff in. And then after that, you can drop me naked in the middle of jungles, and I'm just going to go to war. Like, let's go. That would be me. But that's more because typically you don't get isekai'd into a technology advanced sort of place.
Yeah, you rarely do. Like, it's only like, I think I've seen 1 or 2 animes where it's been, oh, you got isekai'd into a mecha universe. But like, most of it is spellcasting. When it comes to spellcasting, or like worlds of source and sorcery.
Yeah, and that's because most of it is either you're getting pulled across by a god or you're being summoned by a hero spell. So.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, for me, I don't really deal too much in the magic sense. It's just never been my style. Like, even when I play D&D characters, I typically stay away from magical adept individuals. Like about the most things that I've ever, the closest thing to any kind of magic user in D&D I've ever played is probably a bard, and I usually do more of like an illusionist bard, just so that he can use that to distract while he's picking pockets.
Yeah. Like, I've been told that if I was like isekai into a D&D universe,
Mm-hmm.
I've asked my friends before, I've been like, oh, what class would you assign me? And there's so many people who lean towards bard. Because apparently they think that I'm charismatic enough to portray one, or at least I have a talent that would make me one. And I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll do that. I guess I'll be the support guy because I like playing supports.
So a bard doesn't necessarily have to be support though,
It
right?
doesn't. It can be frontliner, it can be backliner, it can be support, it can be anything you want it to be. But for me, I will always play it as support because I like helping others more than getting the credit
Right.
myself. Same reason why I like playing cleric so much. I always go for healing cleric. I might not get the kills, but you're alive because I said so.
Well, not only that, but you don't have to get the kills if you keep alive the guy who's doing all the killing. Then you're perfectly safe.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
I don't need to I don't need to do the killing in order to be a dangerous and a threat. Well, it's very much true. I mean, and you look in like, even if you do like MMOs and you do PvP and MMOs, you look at what's the first thing that gets targeted in any group in an MMO, and that's the person that has any chance of doing any kind of healing. Like that's the thing you target first. That's the thing you take out first. Is the person who's got the healer, and so the healer in the group typically tends to be distraction.
I don't mind being distraction. See, I
Like
have the
like
philosophy of if something bad's gonna happen, I'd rather it happen to me than someone else. So I don't mind being the guy who gets targeted by the boss because I know that with my magic, if I'm a cleric, I can keep you alive and you can fight the guy for me.
yeah. Let's see. Mayhem would like to know what's an album or a song that you could listen to on repeat and never get sick of.
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, there's a lot of songs like that that I have in my head right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Probably my favorite song of all time would be a primary example, which would be Everlong, the acoustic version from the Foo Fighters.
That's a good
It's
choice.
it's my favorite one. If you haven't heard it, it was because it was a secret bonus track on their album, and it was one that my brother owned. And when I heard it the first time, I was like, I like this song, and I've listened to it like pretty regularly since then.
Yeah.
Um, if you're looking for a more comedic answer, uh,
I didn't ask
um,
the question, so I don't know if we're going for comedy here.
I meant you in the royal way. Um, if you're looking for a more comedic answer, I would go for either "Keep Riding Me" by You're Pretty or sorry,
Wow. Just the
I'm
name
just
alone
laughing.
is
Oh, trust me, you're gonna don't worry, you'll love it. Or there's another one by the same artist under a different name, which sorry,
You're fine.
it's oh uh what's the name of it? Something to Feel, which is kind of comedic but mostly just feral. Um, and then also recently I've gotten really into some other like non-comedic songs that are very sweet and um, they've made it into quite a few playlists for me at the moment. Like
Nice.
an example being, which is one that Mayhem actually recommended to me, "Dream" by Keshi,
Ah, yes, I know that song.
which is a really really sweet song. Um, then there's "My Only" by Cloudfather and "Cheekbones" by Arrows in Action. Those are all really good songs I've been listening to. And then
Nice.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention "Half Horse, Half Man." But yeah,
You'd be remiss, but I'm like, oh yeah. Honestly, what is the name of that one? I could listen. Well, so I personally, I could listen to anything from Dr. Demento on repeat for ages.
Dr. Demento. I don't think I'd know that, but I will.
Really?
I'm
Oh,
gonna look it up and
oh,
listen to one
oh.
later.
I'm sorry. You'll have regrets.
Oh no. Is it by Daniel LeBlanc?
uh, I don't. The name doesn't sound familiar. Doctor Demento was a skit that came on. No, it's yeah, Barrett Hansen. That's his name, not Daniel LeBlanc.
Yeah, I see it.
I was like, that doesn't sound right at all. I'll go look it up just to be certain. I'm not going to say a lie about it. I'm like, that name did not strike a bell. No, the Dr. Demento did a host of skits and whatnot, and some of the songs he sang a lot of like really kind of custom, funny, silly songs. And so it was a radio show. I don't know that like you can find them now if you go looking hard enough.
Yeah, I just went onto YouTube there and I found you said Barry Hansen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah,
At least I
Barry
found a
Eugene
mix of
Hansen.
different ones.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Have fun. Welcome to that little
I look forward to it.
drop in the bucket. It's one of those like when I originally started listening to them, I couldn't stop listening to them. I'm like, I need more of these. And unfortunately, his stuff you don't find more. He's passed away at this point, and he actually went off the air after a while too. So unfortunately, a lot of that stuff has been no longer a thing that you're going to find a whole bunch of. But it's such a lovely thing to listen to. Just personalities, me personally. But I grew up listening to some of this stuff too. So like this to me is more like nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff like that that's nostalgia factor for me now. Like The Lonely Island, right?
Yep.
For me, I love a lot of their songs, and my older brother was the one who got me into them. And because of that, I'll often go back and rewatch their older videos, and I've found out that they're uploading new stuff nowadays as well. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, it's always nostalgic for me going back and being like, oh, this video came out 10 years ago, or this video came out in 2008. Crazy.
Okay. What was the first thing that you can remember that you watched again later on and suddenly realized that you had in fact crossed that barrier where like suddenly you're like, oh, I'm actually old. Like you've had that thought.
Oh, like as in like what was the first piece of content I ever consumed, or like, well, not first ever, but like first one that I consumed that I went back and was like, oh wow, this is extremely old.
Just just something that when you came back and you reflected on it again, you're like, oh, like I'm really fucking old. Like you could be like really my brother's daughter just turned 14 the other day, and you're like, oh, I remember when she was a little baby.
Really funny. A primary example of me realizing, damn, I'm getting old, is a video from the 2010s. No longer gets referenced as much as it used to, and when you try and make the reference now, the younger generations don't get it. And that video is a Minecraft parody of I think it's TNT. Because whenever I play Minecraft and someone says creeper, I always say, "Oh man," and no one ever does a follow up to that. And that's and the reason I always say "Oh man" is because in the video, it's like creeper. Oh man, so we back in the mines, and it goes on like that for the entirety of the
Oh,
song.
I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah, it's from Captain Sparkles, and
Yep.
no one gets it anymore. And if they do get it, they stay silent. And every time I'm like, damn, I'm
Old.
getting old. Where did I leave my walker?
Yeah, exactly. You're just
Yeah.
it's one of those like okay, I'm just gonna go cry over here in the corner. Y'all don't mind me for right now. I'm just oldest nibbling turned 16 this month. Jeez. Yeah, that'll make you feel old real quick. Work colleague I used to work with used to say that not a work colleague, it was a streamer. What's his name? Hang on.
What am I hanging on to? Is it you?
No, I'm trying to remember the name of the streamer and oh my god, I actually can't remember his name. That's a shock. Nerdy Northerner. There it is. Ha 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 ha. Brain kicked in. I was in one of his streams and we were talking about kids and we came to the conclusion that kids are like the biggest time clock of your life.
That's why I ignore kids. I've never seen anyone below the age of 18, and I never will.
Because they will. They'll remind you that you're getting older every day. You little bastards.
My favorite was a prime example of kids making someone feel old. My younger sister, when she was in primary school, let's say like elementary school for you guys, she asked my mother how old my mother was, or like when my mother was born, my mother said, and my sister responds with, "Oh, so you grew up during the famine?" Bearing in mind the famine was in 1842. And my mother was just like, "I'm not that old." Not old at all.
Little bastards. That's terrible. But it's just one of those it's yeah, kids are like little permanent time capsule reminders. And the famine series, look, we used to tell the adults when we were kids that you had your I know where I saw you last. Yeah, you signed Methuselah's yearbook. But
It's
that's
also
an old reference that doesn't carry much weight anymore these days because not too many people understand the reference behind that, and it's fine.
another thing that's another way to make you feel old is each year when someone says they're turning 18 and you're like, Jesus, you were born in 2000 and there was an and after 2000 for you?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Like, don't get me wrong, I probably know better. I was 1997. That's the year I was born. So like for a lot of people hearing that and they're like, "Oh, wow, you're young," and I'm like, "No, I'm an old man. I'm very old."
Yeah. Just remind yourself you're older than Google and YouTube.
Exactly.
Ah.
Back in my day, we used to use Yahoo to search. You kids don't know how good you have it. We got really off track from Alvin's songs.
Back in my day, there wasn't even a search engine. You had to know the website address in order to go to it. just die a little inside, like, oh. Yeah, there was a time where the internet didn't even have a search engine to begin with. We used to use web scrapers.
It's crazy to see how far the internet has evolved
in
such a short span of time, like relative to like relative to
Well,
the first computers and stuff, how short a time span it's been around.
well, to be fair, right? There is a whole study where it shows that there's a speed scaling for computers and technology advancements after a certain point, where as the hardware improves, the software improves, and we're reaching a point now where we're fixing to break into new hardware, and the time it takes to do improvements is doubling. Every time a new feature, a new chipset is introduced that gets faster, we double the rate of growth over and over and over again.
Mm.
Y'all are babies. When I was young, look, Johnny,
How many
Johnny,
times do we have to teach you this
I
lesson, old man?
remember the time when telephones were attached by wires. There was a party phone, and you had to dial and spin a number, spin a little dial on the phone. And in some cases, you actually had to call the operator and give the operator the number that you wanted to call. Internet, what was that? When I was young, we had the Rolodex.
Back
We
in
had
my
the
day.
card catalog and the library.
Oh. Man, I miss going to libraries. I need to go to one soon. I used to love going in and just renting books.
You call them renting. We called them borrowing books.
It depended on the library. Some of them were like, depending on their collection, they would charge you a small fee to take it out if it was a rare.
Really?
Kind of, yeah.
That's interesting.
Not as popular in terms of libraries, but the phrase kind of stuck with me of like renting a book. Even though I never really rented those, I always went for the borrow. So yeah, borrow.
Yeah, borrow, lend, take.
Steal. Forever.
Well, not sort of steal, just forget to take back.
Yeah, who needs late fees when you're never late, right?
Um,
What are they gonna do? Track you down?
so I actually lived in a place where they would track you down,
I can imagine.
which was weird, right? They would come after you for their book and be like, "Yeah, we're going to charge you late fee, and we're going to come get that book back from you." I never personally experienced it, but I heard the horror stories, and I was like, "Really? They actually do that here?" Right? Don't get a library card here. It's just not going to happen. The bulky brick cell phones. No, see, the problem here was I was never rich enough to afford a cell phone until much later in life. Rutherford would like to know, if you were on death row, what would be your final meal?
Easy. Already have the answer for you. And it would be 14 bananas. And the reason why is I'm allergic to them and I'm going out on my own terms. Fuck them. I'm going to scarf down the first 6 before they realize their mistake. And by the time I finish, I'll be gone.
You can't have me. I am going out to my way. The problem here is they would actually save you. And the unfortunate part is that medical science is to a point now where going out via anaphylaxis shock is not really a thing unless you're like just out somewhere way far away from civilization.
I need to address something real quick. You cannot buzz me. I was asked to answer what I would have on death row. That's unfair. I deserve to go out on my own terms.
Is there a reason why you're being buzzed?
Oh, apparently, and I don't feel like I was being self-deprecating, but they were saying that whenever I'm being self-deprecating, them and Mayhem are going to both buzz me. And I will have it on record, I wasn't being self-deprecating. I was
No.
being funny.
Yeah, anaphylaxis is not really the most ideal way to go out
Oh, it's
either.
not anaphylaxis that I get from it. It's a different thing entirely. It causes my temperature to shoot through the roof, and it doesn't close up my throat, but it makes it incredibly difficult for me to swallow anything else. So
Yeah,
it'd be a
that's
long way to go, but it'd be my terms.
well, that is anaphylaxis though. That's
No,
exists.
that's where it closes up your throat. Mine is just it doesn't give me the saliva or anything to be able to swallow. I can still breathe in. I can still like if I had the saliva or the liquid, be able to swallow. But it's
Okay.
the anaphylaxis itself would be like cutting off the airway.
uh, so as a 10-year paramedic, I can tell you that any sort of reaction that you have is considered anaphylaxis, and they would treat you the same way. So whether or not you're closing up or not, it's still what they would treat that as. And the procedures for handling that are the same. It doesn't really change anything.
I'll put up a fight anyway. And even if they do save me, I've made them waste money.
But that's fair. That's fair. Just yeah, interesting. But I mean, I think you're the first person who's decided that no, I'm going to take my life my own way.
Listen, they're gonna put me on death row. I get to choose when I go out, not them. I don't care if they try to save my life. I'm going out by my own standards.
So it's rather interesting, right? So death row inmates are actually on a suicide watch. Like they have people watching them the whole time, and what they're given is actually monitored very carefully, just for that. Like they don't want you to die before they take you out, which is a very odd sort of thing, right? Because you're like, well, you're just going to kill me anyways. What difference does it make how I die? Like somebody explained that to me. What difference does it make how I die? You're going to kill me anyways. So why does it matter? But apparently it
It's
does.
not about the method, it's about the statement.
Yeah.
Because if they're doing it and they want to do it, they're doing it to set an example. That's probably the original precedence for the death penalty.
I think the original precedence for the death penalty is actually more to not so much a statement, but more to mete out somebody's idea of justice and to give the people that were wronged a sense of closure for justice being served.
Probably. Listen, I don't claim to be an intellectual. I always claim to be the complete opposite. But that one's going to get me a buzz, and I can feel it being already typed out.
Eating bananas with antihistamine tablets in them. Ooh. It's fine. It's fine. Rutherford would like to know, if you were an X-Men, would you be Cypher?
Cypher's the one who like has an innate kind of like thing for languages, isn't he?
You're asking me, and I'm like, I thought I knew every X-Men. Who is this guy? He's got to be a new one that just recently came out because I haven't kept up on the latest
If it's the
round
one
of them.
I'm thinking of, and it's to do with languages and all that stuff, then yes, that I would pick.
Okay, Cypher was okay. I'm like, I don't recognize this guy. That would be why. He's actually from the New Mutants. It's where he showed up at. And he was killed.
Brother Birch says Cypher is not new. Cypher is old.
Yeah, he was in the New Mutant section. He was not originally part of the. But he was never part of the X-Men themselves. He was in the X-Men, but he was a New Mutant X-Men. Yeah, with the alien warlock. Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure it's the one I'm thinking of, and if it is, then yes, I would be happy to have that skill set. It wouldn't be my ideal power, but I would be happy to have it.
Yeah, his ability was to intuitively understand and translate any form of communication, be it written, spoken, or nonverbal. Uh, Interesting. That's a very interesting skill set to have.
It's a very niche one, but it's the one that, like, for me, I'd be, like I said, I'd be happy to have that because, again, I love languages. I love being able to understand things. So,
Me and Brotherford about ready to get into I can see it now. He's spooling for a nerdy argument. I was not saying he's a new mutant, as in a brand new mutant. I was just like, I don't recognize him. And he may be a newer mutant. And then when I went and looked him up to see where he falls in at within the range, I'm like, oh, he is a new mutant, because that's the name of the team that he was enlisted in, was the New Mutants with Warlocks in the X-Men Legacy collection. Not that he was necessarily a new mutant. Nerd debate. Let's go.
this is a nerd debate.
Actually, no.
Oh. Comment there, college humor.
But so that the New Mutant line of comic book series that were part of the X-Men's and Warlock running around were not ones that I was introduced to or read a whole lot of, which is why I didn't recognize him.
Mm.
And when I was busy collecting my comic book cards and whatnot, Cypher was not one of the line, but the old Marvel comic book cards in the comic book sections that I used to read a lot of did not carry much in the way of New Mutant.
Yeah, so like what you're saying is you didn't recognize Cypher because he's a new mutant, not a new mutant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually.
I'd like to have you know that Cypher, okay, he's not a new mutant, he's a new mutant. Okay, it's slightly different.
Slightly different, but yet still the same thing. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's what we live for around here. Just as something. Just when the tadpole went, oh. Fight me. No. I will take you on in Spider-Man debates all day long. Spider-Man was my go-to comic book genre. Amazing, fantastic, and that's where I spent the majority of my childhood and my comic book readings. That was in the Spider-Man series. I branched a little bit into Punisher and the X-Men series, but not enough. X-Force was also another good one. Not X-Force, X-Factor. X-Factor or X-Force?
No, that's a TV show, Nori. Silly.
Yeah. I'm like, no, that doesn't sound right either. I think it was X-Force. Look, it's been an age since I sat down and looked at my comic books, and in fact, I don't actually have any of my comic books anymore. X-Men movies good?
I think they're. I think a lot of them are good, but I think there's a few hits that should have been hits and ended up being misses. For example, First Class, great movie, but the one thing that ruined it for me was the way they did Darwin dirty, and it's like, no, not my boy Darwin.
Darwin was done very dirty. First off, there's no way he should have died. Like that wouldn't have been a thing. I didn't really agree with the way they did Havoc's power. Right? But that's I did like the way they portrayed Cyclops a lot. They did him pretty good. But I mean, Cyclops was probably a little easier to do than Havoc ever was anyways. Nightcrawler was their depiction of Nightcrawler was very nice. I had my issues with the whole Marvel comic movies, the Marvel movies, when they started doing them was when they did the redone the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I was put off really hard, and I never came back around. And I watched the very first Iron Man and was not real. I like the actors that played it, was not thrilled at all. The Avengers movies, I'm like, okay, this is just moving farther and farther away from X Factor's capitalism. To me, a lot of the Marvel movies that they came out with moved farther and farther away from the comic books that I remember growing up and watching, especially when they started doing the Infinity Gauntlet Wars in the Avengers series. I'm like, yeah, but that wasn't just strictly an Avengers thing. That was the Infinity Gauntlet Wars was a multi comic book like that. That was everybody comic book got hit with that. And then the bit where they're like, oh yes, Venom is just alien from outer space. No, Venom costume actually had an origin, and it was found by Spider-Man and brought back during the Secret Wars, where they all went off planet. And the Venom suit was given to Spider-Man, not that it was a symbiote at the time. It was given to him. We later learned it was a symbiote, but it was originally given to him to repair his armor. And it was just, so like there's this whole history, and then it gets kind of glossed over in movies real quick and like wiped out. And you're like, wait, but that's my childhood, dude.
I do really enjoy the Tom Hardy Venom movies. They're just stupid fun, and that's what I like about them.
Yeah. I think if you take the movies on their own, they did a lovely job. Like if you watch them without any context of how it should have been in the comic books, and yes, they're lovely. And you kind of have to take them out of context like that. With unnecessary plot points and characters, you're not wrong, Clover. Not wrong indeed. Welcome in. Let's see what else we got on deck here. DEFCON 01, like, no, steak or seafood?
Probably seafood. Like, I'm not too keen on either of them, really, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go for seafood. Just because it'd be a larger selection of things that I could eat than just one thing.
I don't think the question is whether or not that's the only thing to eat. It was
no, I'm saying like in terms of like selection and like different types of meals. Yes, I'm not reading it as the only thing you could ever eat again. I'm reading it as like what allows you for a better variety of things rather than just being limited to one or two dishes. So yeah, probably seafood for me.
It's not just the cook, it's the quality. You can tell what DEFCON's preference is. Steaks are good. Seafoods are nice. Seafood does have a bigger variety, but I think I prefer a good piece of beef over seafood. And for somebody that spent years on an island where seafood was like a regular thing, and culturally seafood is pretty big for Puerto Ricans, I'm a little bit abnormal just because I prefer the beef over the seafood. I don't like really fishy flavors. It just doesn't settle well with me. Very suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Every time somebody does that, that's all I hear in my head. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Anyways.
No cap.
No cap. Straight facts. No printer.
No printer.
We'll give you a double dab, and then there you go. You yeet that trout right into the ocean.
On God, for real, for real.
Skibbity, my friend, skibbity. Who was I? I was talking to. Oh God, I was talking to some. we're killing the guest. They're like, no, stop that.
I'm gonna get such a talking to.
It's fine. It's fine.
Second I get out of here, all I'm gonna hear is how dare you be self-deprecating, and then followed up with, and how dare you do that fucking brain rot shit.
You say that as if I've not been here, like going right along with you on this. Like, yeah, let's do this. It's fine. It's fine. We got this.
Nori, you can't protect me forever.
Who said anything about protecting you? I didn't offer protection. I'm just like, you weren't going at it alone. That's all. When YouTube pretended X-Men was bad, yeah, I remember when YouTube thought X-Men was bad. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. Is it really fine? I'm going to go with it's fine. It's fine. What game or genre game do you have the most hours in?
Ooh, so overall genre.
Ooh. Sorry, folks, we just went into a commercial too for some people.
In which case, I will hold that answer.
No, keep on going. You're fine. We'll rehash afterwards.
Genre game, probably first-person shooters overall. But specific title? Oh, that's the tricky one. It's either going to be the Destiny series, not any specific game, just Destiny in general, or it'll be Halo 3.
Halo 3. That's a neat.
Yes.
Why Halo 3? Like, what was it about that particular series that you got stuck in?
So, Halo is probably one of my favorite series of all time, if not the favorite series. I grew up with it, and when my brother got an Xbox for the first time, me and him decided to play Halo 3 together. We played through the entire campaign on heroic difficulty, and we finished it. And for me, it always brings back memories of, being close to my older brother, being able to bond with him, to the point where when I got my first tattoo, I wanted it to be the legendary symbol from Halo, because I went back and played it by myself on legendary.
Mm-hmm.
I got the legendary difficulty symbol on my left arm, both for my love of Halo and to always remind me of the memories I have with my brother. So even when I'm, even if me and him have falling outs or whatever, I'll always have good times with me from him.
Right.
So for me, that was a game that I absolutely loved growing up. And it's not because it was the best game in the world. It was purely because of the jokes and the stupid things that me and my brother would say. For example, there was one point where you have to fly a Hornet, which is the aerial vehicle in it. That's like a VTOL, and
yeah,
he was flying and I was the passenger, and the entire time all we would do is just stupid. Come in, over. We're about to land on our target. Go, 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 go. That kind of stuff, just really stupidly. And it was just the fact that it was something so stupid and so funny to the two of us that it made playing the game that much more entertaining. And it's why I have such fond memories of it and why I put so much time into it.
Right, but memories are this lovely thing, right? Like playing a game because it spawns memories and nostalgic feelings are what takes you back to a game. Like I think replay factor on a game is fine. Like being able to play a game over and over again is great, but I think I would play the worst game over and over again just because of the nostalgia factor for it, than for any other reason as to why I would do it, right? Like if I've got really happy memories and it takes me back to a happier time where I am smiling an awful lot and just laughing and giggling and yeah, absolutely, I'm going to sit there and play that game ad nauseum for years, decades to come.
Yeah, and another, going completely away from first-person shooters, another game that I absolutely love, that is incredibly rich in storytelling, and it's probably one of the only games to have ever made me cry at the end of it was a game called Valiant Hearts: The Great War. And it is such a beautiful and rich story. And by the time you get through the game, you've bonded with every character that they've introduced. And you get to the end and you go through the whole end finale sequence, and the entire time you're finding your heart being torn at because of what's happening on screen, which I'm not going to spoil because if someone wants to play it, I want them to actually experience the same thing I experienced. But playing that game and getting that ending genuinely brought tears to my eyes. And I remember just sitting there for like 10 minutes afterwards, wiping my face and going, Jesus, I want to play that again. I wish I could experience it for the first time. Fuck,
There you go.
I see that. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Saphira would like to know, where did I go wrong?
I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life.
Rose. Here you go.
Rose.
Safi is one of those that is a 2-time Talk Tuesday guest.
Right. Now I'm going to have that entire first opening verse of it stuck in my head.
There you go. There's not.
Yeah.
You know what? Sucks to be you.
You know what? I'm going to get it stuck in your head, Nori. Do you know the song?
Yes, I know the song, but it's not going to stick in my head. I've got something else.
We need to talk.
See,
I won't butcher you. Don't worry.
You're fine. Like I don't actually like, most people get songs stuck in their heads, and I'll occasionally have them pop in or out, but I don't actually have songs that just stick around in my head for hours on end. Most of that is probably because I am constantly playing music in my head anyways.
Yeah.
So it's going to, yep. So you're going to have to come up with, like, you could interrupt a jukebox moment, but then I'm going to go back to whatever it was that was running through my head anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So
like, where I work in a clean room, so we're not allowed to have like earphones or anything with us.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain is literally my jukebox the entire time. And I'll be like just humming or singing quietly to myself, and someone will come up to ask me a question. The song stops for a moment, answer the question, they go to walk away, I start singing again.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like I understand entirely about having a jukebox in your head, and it's fun as well because it's any song that you love.
Oh yeah, you can play anything you want to listen to. What are you in the mood for? It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. Yo,
What are you in the
double XL boy, what's
for?
up?
What are you in the
What are
mood
you in
for?
the mood
You
for?
start getting
I'm
afraid.
just let's go. We're gonna find this. A lot of times I make up a lot of the music that plays around in my head. Just because I'm always looking for a new beat, a new rhythm, a new sound. And so I spend a lot of time just composing in my head.
I'm similar to that, but instead of songs, it's poetry. So I'll spend like an entire day like just humming to myself, and then my brain goes, Liam, here's the first line of the poem. Start poeming, poem boy, and I'll start doing a poem.
That's right. Get on it. Get down on it. No, sorry. Jungle Boogie.
Play that fucking music, white boy.
Well, that's not me.
Sorry, I got you. Don't worry.
Well, good. As long as one of us do, right?
I'm so white. I'm so white. I blend in with the clouds.
I'm so white. I'm transparent. Yeah, I guess so. I can see right through you.
A man's never told a lie in his life. Yeah, no. Yeah, I suppose that is where I went wrong. You know.
There you go. Double XL boy, I regularly butcher lyrics for songs that I know, and I intentionally take tunes that I know and change the lyrics to them on a regular basis, just because I think it would be funny.
I do the same thing, and I specifically make sure I'm stood next to a coworker, and I make it into the most sus lyrics I can. And every time he's like, "Did you find these online?" I'm like, "Nope,
Nope.
I'm making it up right now to fuck with you." And every time he's like, "Why are you weirdly good at coming up with fake lyrics? What is
Why do
wrong
you?
with you?"
What is? Yeah. Well, look, I do it in my streams. I'll do it, especially if squirrels floating around or any of us actually. There's a number of people that be right in the middle of streams, and I'll just suddenly break out into song and just slaughter the lyrics into something else. Just right out, like, wait, what? Oh God, why?
It's just
No
such a
cap,
fun thing.
straight facts.
Straight facts, no printer. On God, for real, for real.
Yeah, definitely. What is this? Green Emerald Dragon would like to know if you could have any item / food and you could have an unlimited supply of it. What would it be and why?
If I could have any item or food and an unlimited supply of it.
Meanwhile, we're getting dotted.
I would go for a 10 euro note, an unlimited supply of it, an unlimited 10 euro note, so I can just keep having 10 euro all the time. Infinite money glitch unlocked.
So that would be well, fine and dandy until you ruin the economy.
A little bit of inflation never hurt anyone. And besides, we can always go back to bartering. I'll take us back to the Bronze Age. I'm not afraid to be Ian the Seer.
Back to the Bronze Age we go. What say? What say?
For those of you who don't know what name I just said, that was one of the people who is attributed to ruining the Bronze Age by selling really shitty metals. Personal hero.
Barring the economy will crash. Yes, it will fall on its face. It would be useless. We will have to replace it with something else. Quick, to the studies. Shall we decide what it is we will replace it with? No, you don't know what you're talking about.
The voice you just did there reminded me of one of my favorite dumb jokes from a TV show. There was a TV show in the UK called Mock the Week.
Right.
And there was a segment in it where they'd have like a group of comedians, they'd go up onto a stage and they'd be given a prompt. And one of the prompts was like unlikely lines to hear in a war film. And one of the comedians walks out, looks deadpan at the camera and goes, "Why are we speaking English?"
Das ist good.
Ja. Haben Sie Deutsch gelernt?
Ja. Bartering but no, but it is one of those, like, I think the question's good, right? It's a sound question. It's a fun question. If you could have an infinite amount of anything, I think having an infinite amount of money,
okay, fair enough,
would ruin things.
Case,
like it would be fun at first, but then very quickly, as you produce these 10-pound notes and you go and you spend and spend and spend, you very quickly.
I'm not a monster. I wouldn't go for 10 pounds, 10 euro. I'm a gentleman. But okay, if we're ruling out money then for the simple factor of the economy wanting to survive.
Well, so no, because I mean, you're fine with your answer. Like I'm not disputing. We're having a conversation about this now, right? Because
I know, but I'm just saying we could always have more fun. I could make it even crazier. Let's see if I could have infinite of anything. Oh, I could hold the world hostage. Give me uranium. No, I'm joking. Infinite of anything. Well, infinite food either.
It's just one word in chat: menace.
Menace.
uh, so like it's an intriguing question, right? So if we stop and sit down and think about this, right? The minute that you have an infinite amount of anything, no matter what it is that you want, right? You have the means by which that you can monopolize and dominate an entire sphere of something. But at the same time, having an infinite amount of that thing with which to monopolize and dominate a particular segment of something will necessitate a decline of value for that item as well, because
You know
now
what?
there's an overabundance of it.
I read chat and I must appease. I will go for unlimited mac and cheese. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, actually. That was really good. I'm proud of me.
It open a Swiss shop and be like Willy Wonka. But I do think
keep
it's
a certain person happy. I'd go for unlimited mac and cheese.
Right, but I do think it's an interesting thought experiment, right? Like, what could you have an unlimited amount of that would be renewable, would be useful, and would be wanted by everybody the world over, and yet having an unlimited, being able to produce an unlimited supply would not be a terrible, bad, no good thing that would cause for problems. There are two things that I can think of right now that would be phenomenal resources to have an unlimited amount of. And being able to produce would be, of vital importance to everybody. It would also enable for some really interesting things as well. And those two things would be air and water. If you can produce either one of those in infinite amounts, right? Now you can unlock space travel. Have all the air that you need. You can travel anywhere you wanted to in space. Or be able to produce water, which is probably the better of the two of them, because from water we can extract oxygen out of, and you get hydrogen, which gives you fuel as well as air to breathe, as well as water is a good source for helping to stay hydrated, as well as you can use it to help grow things, because we do hydroponic plants, so you can grow food out of it. So being able to produce an unlimited amount of water as you needed to on demand is probably the one thing that you would be safe to go, that's the thing that I would have an unlimited amount of. And you would be in a fairly safe state, because now you have a resource that is always in demand, will always stay in demand. Right.
I'd also like the idea of like going for a specific type of medication, especially like one of the ones that's currently like extremely pricey on the market, and then being able to be like, I've got infinite of it. Here you go.
Have all you want. What's that? You need your insulin? Here you go. No problem. We got you covered.
Oh, insulin, 100%. I've got so many friends who are diabetic, and I've got a lot of them that are in the States, and they tell me how much it costs. If I could get infinite insulin, I'd be like, hey, I got you. Not only do I have you, I've got all your family and friends who might have it, and any strangers you want to have it. Here,
right?
Infinite, free for everyone. And then you'd have the guys being like, but my company will go bankrupt. Well, you should have thought about that before you made it outrageously expensive in that one country specifically, because every other country is, decently priced.
Everybody else is willing to be reasonable. You had to be a fuckall. So
exactly. I'll ruin a company. This is an active threat. I will ruin your company.
In the U.S. that you could only stay in for the rest of your life, what would it be? What be? Bananas.
I'm confused about the phrasing of that question.
Sorry, if the U.S. Oh, if the U.S. is the only place that you could stay in for the rest of life, what state would you stay in? Where would you live?
Oh, it's a lot of moving for me, though. I'd have to actually go to the U.S. So I'd probably go to, at the moment, it'd probably be Seattle. Like the Washington state.
Yeah. It's the area over there is not bad from what I hear tell.
Mm. From what I know, it gets a lot of snow, and I like snow. Mostly because I don't drive, so I don't have to drive in the snow. But like even aside from that, like it's one of the states that has the closest uh weather and stuff to Ireland, so I'd feel more at home and at ease there. And other reasons. Uh but yeah, I would I'd pick that.
Fair. Very fair. Where did I go
Yeah.
wrong? You know where you went wrong at. Green Emerald would like to know if you could have mutant powers, what would it be and why?
Teleportation like Nightcrawler. Because it's just such a handy ability to have. Like you can teleport anywhere, as long as you've either been there or it's within your sight line. You can just be like, I go there. I teleport onto that ship. I teleport onto that plane. I teleport 5 feet to my left because I'm too lazy to walk. I would pick teleportation any day of the week as a mutant ability. Unless, and here's the caveat for this, unless I live in a world where everyone has a mutant ability. In which case, I'm going to be the biggest asshole in the room. I'm going to get a power that negates powers around me. Because I'm being safe. I don't want some guy with super strength coming up and trying to punch me in the face at full force. He can still punch me, but he's not going to have a super strength.
Yeah, this is very much so a true statement.
What about you? What would you pick?
Me, I would probably go with telekinetics.
Ooh, telekinesis is always fun.
Because now I can be super lazy because I can just sit down and bring everything to me, or I can pick myself up and carry myself wherever I wanted to go. I wouldn't have to move.
Mm.
In which case, you could fly anywhere you wanted to go. So as
Yeah,
far as traveling
'cause
goes, it just fly there.
it'd be
And
like
as
the movie
far
Chronicle.
as and as far as dealing with anybody who wants to come in and kick my butt, well, if you can't get to me, then you can't hit me. So I don't, whatever. I would be that perpetual like bully with the long arms and the little kids and just be like holding them off as they're swinging in the air right in front of your head, like, I'm gonna hit you. Like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't hurt yourself. But telekinesis is nice because if let's say they've got the ability to like teleport, like, okay, so you've got an ability to teleport. Well, as soon as you come into range when you teleport in, because I just have to think about it, like you can't move, so you're just going to teleport and be held in place anyways whenever you reappear. So that doesn't really give
I'll
you.
just teleport to where your car is parked and take a shit in the air filter. I win. Checkmate.
You could do that, assuming that I use a car, since I can now just fly everywhere I wanted to go.
I know, but the next time you get in there for the nostalgia of it, oh boy.
I don't have nostalgia for driving a car. I would rather not drive a car. I would rather not have anything to do with a car. So like I have fond memories of living on the island in Puerto Rico, and everything was basically within walking distance. And the idea of having to get into a car and travel for 4 or 5, 6 hours to go anywhere used to be a fun thing I used to enjoy doing when I was younger. Nowadays, I'm like, I really, if there was a faster way to get there that didn't require me having to sit in the car for 8, 12, 10 hours, whatever, like, yes, please. I'll take that.
Honestly, I've always been a bigger fan of like trains and other forms of transport than cars personally, because I don't like being so not crushed, but like in a small space. I like being not like I'm not claustrophobic. I want to clarify that. I just don't like being in cars because it gets very cramped for me very easily, especially if the car is full, because I'm a relatively tall guy, so I have to have the chair back a little bit, and so if the car is full, I have to put the chair forward. Um,
Uh,
whereas like
I
if I'm
like
on a
that.
train or something, I can stand up and move around.
Become a beast boy. Be able to just turn into any animal you want to and flop around. And just like, I'm going to be a whale and crush you under my fat ass.
And what a juicy ass it is.
Hands off my badonkadonk.
You dare grab onto my glutes? How dare you? You monster.
Look. We used to regularly play a game around here called Fall Guys. And every time there's a clip of me talking about like, I must have the juiciest badonkadonk because every time I try to take off from the starting line, somebody's got a hold of my back end. And it was one of those games where like every time you go to run off, somebody would grab a hold of you at the start. So you can't just like take off. Like, no, hold on. Let me get a hold of that. No, hands off. This is mine. You can't touch. What are you doing? Did not say it was okay. Personal space. But things like that.
How dare you? You've infringed on my personal space. I can never forgive you.
Exactly. Yeah. Never. You must
Never.
suffer now. Feel my wrath.
You ever see the memes that have been going around recently where it's like when wizards get into a battle, they don't use spells like fireball or counters.
Yeah. No.
They use spells like mend but crack.
Yeah. Titanium balls.
Testicular torsion.
Oh God, yes. That just I'm sorry. In any magical battle, if somebody starts casting testicular torsion, like, no, please, I'm out. You win. I'm not even. Nope. Mm-mm.
It's like that one comic where the dude goes into like an MMA fight and his opponent starts doing the Kamehameha. So the guy folds immediately, like doesn't wait for him to finish, and he goes to an interview. It's like, yeah, I know he probably couldn't do it, but I'm not taking that risk. What if he could do a Kamehameha?
Exactly. Like, nah. Mm-mm. Pass. But yeah, like that sort of thing. It's like, no. Well, we'll see. We'll think about it. We'll consider it. Well, nah, forget about it. I'm out. Johnny would like to know what books or movies do you enjoy?
So, my favorite all-time book series is a book series called Skullduggery Pleasant. And I loved that growing up. It's like a young adult novel. The premise is this girl named Stephanie Edgley. She is told her uncle has passed away. And so they go to the funeral, and there's this strange guy there whose face is completely covered. They can't make out any of his features, but he seems to be in attendance. And they're like, okay, that's a bit weird. And then they go to the reading of the will, and he shows up, and he's given something from the will. And the entire premise is her finding out that this strange man is quite literally a skeleton detective from a world of magic and monsters and all that great stuff. And he's investigating her uncle's death. And that's just the first chapter, maybe first 2 chapters of the first book.
Nice.
And she gets immersed into this whole world, and like it is fantastic to read. And then in terms of movies, my favorite all-time movie is Hot Fuzz, because it is the quintessential dumb comedy movie that I love. Either that or Airplane. I just love deadpan humor. And delivering the lines that they do in Airplane is fantastic because it's influenced a lot of my comedy, where it's like, this man is sick. He needs to be gotten to a hospital. A hospital? What is it? It's a building full of patients, but that's not important right now. He's very ill.
Yeah, it's juxtaposition of the statements, right? It's
Yeah.
how you can take what somebody's saying and just like, oh my God, he's gonna die. No. It's not like that. It's like this instead, and you trade off what it is It's a subtle shift of expectations. That's what I was looking for. What is
Yeah.
there's a term for this, and my brain just like said, "Nah, resource denied."
I'm also blanking on the phrase too. Don't worry.
Damn you, brain.
But like with Hot Fuzz, it's the fact that like the editing in it is fantastic because they do like a lot of these hardcore action edits that are just for the most monotonous thing. And they do it in like Shaun of the Dead as well, where it's like him getting a cornetto out of a fridge, and it's the most hardcore fucking splash cut edit, fucking flashing lights as if he's in the middle of a gunfight, and it's just him paying for it at the till.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
I
they
love
did
that.
those on purpose. Like that was
Yeah.
part of the directing style that they were going for and whatnot, which
Yeah,
was
it's humor through less of a conversational standpoint, more of like a thematic standpoint, because you're
yes.
expecting hardcore violence or something when that kind of editing takes hold, and instead it's the most mundane thing, and it's funny because of that. It's a you know the word I'm trying to say.
Some juxtaposition.
That's the one. It's that because your brain is immediately anticipating something that's not going to
Right.
happen. And then when they do actually get to the action segments, your brain is like, wow, I wasn't expecting this. And this is now really good.
Where's the action? Where's the action? Devil XL Boy would like to know, wizard or Jedi, who would win?
What type of wizard are we talking here? Because like, is it like a D&D wizard or is it a Harry Potter type wizard? Because it really depends on their skill set.
You understand, right? The Harry Potter is just a
They're
retelling
sorcerers.
of Star Wars.
Oh, I'm aware. If I had to choose one, it depends who gets the first turn in initiative for me. Like if it's Darth Vader going up against a wizard of most calibers, if Darth Vader gets to raise his hand before they raise their wand and get the first sentence out, assuming that they have to cast with verbal components.
Okay, but
if he gets his hand up first, he wins.
You're working under the assumption that. So Jedi powers, you understand that the hand maneuvering is more just a.
I know
it's not
more
necessary.
Of a focus to help them. Yeah, they can move it.
It's not even a focus.
Mind.
It's just bad habits.
Yeah, but no, I reckon. Like if it's Jedi, let's say it's Mace Windu. Mace Windu easily probably clears a good few wizards, but the higher the skill set of the wizard, the more he would struggle. So I'm leaning towards Force users at least.
Well, so and I would here we get back around to the whole even Force users at their very basics are basically just telekinetics. So we're back in that whole early state of mind about I would have telekinesis. Why? Fly, push things away, whole stuff. Like it's I think either one of them's equally unrealistic as far as who would come out on top. Just because depending on what you're gauging off from. That's a fight that can go really one of a couple different ways. The right answer is wizard, by the way.
It's okay to be incorrect. Your opinion has been noted and subsequently disregarded.
Bro.
You're talking to a guy whose picture on stream is him looking like a wizard and he's siding with the Force users.
Well, when was the last time that you saw a wizard move an entire planet?
And again, a lot of spellcasters use verbal components. Force users aren't limited by that. They can literally just move it with their mind, like Nori was saying there. So I would lean towards the people who have a faster skill that they can deploy. Now, if the wizard caught you unawares and was the first one to open fire, it would be a very close fight.
I don't care what you say. I cast Fireball. Okay. What was the name of that game? God, every time I hear people are like, I don't care what you say, I cast Fireball, and I go back. There was an Easter egg in a game. It was an old game, where it was basically all the characters and a couple of the bad guys sitting around the table playing D&D. And the voiceovers, people were doing the voiceover for it, right? And so the DM's the monster, and he's like, so you're in this room, and the mage character is the little snivelly guy that drove you nuts throughout the game. He's like, I want to cast magic missile. Like, what are you casting magic missile? I'm casting magic missile on the dark. Like, it was the worst D&D session that you've ever heard, but you're like, this is exactly the way, 10 and 12-year-old me with all my friends would sit around and we would play D&D and just be like,
Like for me, one of my favorite things that they do in media is when they try to do like games or something in the background, but you can tell that the people performing those actions know nothing about it. Like you see a guy playing a video game, and instead of like just
Right.
casually moving the left thumbstick and maybe pressing the right trigger a few times, he is hammering every button and being like, "Oh, I'm doing so good at this game." It's like, I bet it's not even turned on. I can see the power pack is actually out of the controller. But yeah, no. Like I will always love seeing people getting into D&D and stuff because it's something I adore. In case you couldn't tell by the picture.
No.
I
Completely couldn't tell. It's fine.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everybody picks that up because I that's like my part of my brand, I suppose. I say everything's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I have it from like an old thing on YouTube I used to watch where the guy was like proper English and he would say, "It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine." Anubis, welcome in. I would like to see somebody say Avada Kedavra if I've ripped your jaw out with force.
Yeah, you also have to train your spellcasting to get stronger."
Anyways.
Yeah. What do we have next, dear boy?
What do we have next? We've done that one already. Can't do that one. DEFCON 01 would like to know if you had to live somewhere besides where you're from, where would it be and why?
Without taking into consideration personal bias, I would probably, if I had to live somewhere and it's somewhere I'm not from, I would like to live in another island nation, probably. So I would like to live in Japan, or something like that. Just because I would love to experience a culture that is a lot more different while still feeling somewhat familiar. When I say familiar, I mean like they have certain themes that are similar to my culture, but a lot of it is completely different. Like everything is almost completely different. So I would like to experience that. So I'd probably pick that without any personal bias. What about you? Where would you like to live, Nori, if you could live anywhere?
I could live anywhere. Alpha Centauri.
All right, smart ass.
You asked.
All right, if you could live anywhere that humanity has been able to settle currently.
Oh, now we're gonna get specific. I see. It's looking good enough for you. If I had to live somewhere here on the planet Earth, I would probably go for like honestly, I think I would probably go for probably UK. I'd live anywhere. I would probably go stay in like England somewhere. Not for anything other than the fact that I do enjoy a lot of the British television, and their sense of humor, which is fantastic. It's another island nation, but mostly, there's a lot of places there in UK where most everything you need is within a walking distance away.
I mean, if you want a real smart aleck answer, instead of saying Japan, I was tempted to say Northern Ireland so I could apply for an Irish passport and just go home. I was very tempted to say that.
It's fantastic.
Mate, it's fucking fantastic, you know?
It is. It's exactly the way you want it to be, I say. Well, it's just the way we have to talk around here. Sometimes it's necessary to break out a really terrible accent and just gonna take it and run with it for a bit, because you never know exactly what you're trying to do here. But in the meantime, but yes, I would go.
In the meantime, oh.
Sound like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. That's actually where that particular voice comes from. Dick Van Dyke was
Van Dyke,
one
yeah.
I love watching his stuff, and I love listening to the way he talked an awful lot, and so I used to mimic the way he talked as much as I could. And when Dick Van Dyke does, like, the way when he changes the way he speaks, if you actually watch the way he talks, he moves his jaw around, right?
Yeah.
And so the way he changes his dialect or the way he's talking or anything else, a lot of it's got, just watch his face, because his face takes on a different appearance. Like, it's the same face, but like he'll pull his ears back, his eyes will go a little wider, but that jaw will move around as he speaks, and so a lot of that just kind of comes out in the way he talks, and it's such a fabulous way of watching.
It's
him
like when I do different voices as well, depending, like, if it's a different accent or if it's just a voice that's a higher register, I'll always do some sort of facial contortion to go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I'm doing like the "Hey, how's it going? The name's Sal," I kind of like talk out of one side of my mouth, and like
Right.
my lips kind of contort in a weird way to try and mimic the sound, because like, "Hey, what's the matter with you? Name's Sal. I own a pizzeria. I've been in business now for the last 35 years."
Right. And it's and you get and a lot of that works really well because you can move the jaw around, and it's a lot of fun.
Doing voices is one of my favorite things.
It's such a fun thing to do, and I enjoy doing voices. But for me, like I do, I'm a DM. I have done DMing now for the better part of 15 years, probably longer than that, but I want to say 15 for right now because I'm safe at that point. And I do character voices. All my characters have their own unique voice, and a lot of them, my face takes on a contortion based on the way I physically see the character, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just finished playing a campaign with Zodicus and a couple other guys, where I played a guy named Narst. And Narst is a Goliath. So he's a big, tall guy, and so his jaw sits out a bit much, but he's because he's a real big guy, he's a bit slow to talk, and Narst has always got something in his mouth, so his vowels kind of gets a little gummed up in there, and Narst talks, and he likes to be out there in the wilderness, and there's always something in his mouth, and so he's always eating something. So it always sounds like he's just kind of talking around something that's in his mouth on a regular basis.
Like with me, I've been playing D&D for the last 10 years.
Hello,
so obviously newer to the pastime. But one of my favorite things is testing the range of my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So like right now I'm playing a character, and I think I've shown you this one before, but just for the people who haven't seen it, and I want you to picture this in your mind: a small kobold cleric, about 2.4 feet tall. He's very tall for his height,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't speak common fluently. He doesn't know personal pronouns yet, so he's using Scus Rakro for every pronoun. And so when he speaks, he talks like,
Scus Rakro thinks that's a stupid idea, but Scus Rakro go along with it anyway.
and I love doing his voice because it's just so scratchy. And he actually got voted main character by the party, which makes me laugh every time. They're like, yeah, no, Scus is the heart and soul of the party. I'm like, but he's just a little guy. And they're like, that's exactly why we picked him.
Right.
And then like I'll do like, you know, bigger characters who are like Goliaths, like what you said. And oftentimes he'll talk down here and, you know, kind of just
Right.
mosey around. A bit deeper. Not great, I know, but
Oh.
you know, it is what it is.
I was running a campaign, and I had a big orc. It's probably the funniest thing I'd done. It was this huge giant orc. He came in, he sat down at the table, he sat down on the bench, and because he sat down on one end of the bench tips up a little bit, you know. Like he's huge big guy. Sits down and he sits down.
And then he's like, so I need you heroes to understand that there's a big thing out there for you to go do.
Oh my god, Stitch, is that you?
Hello, means family.
That's it's exactly right. And so when you gotta understand, when we're out here doing the hero rankings, I need you to do it right.
And so the idea has always been like, I've always had this idea of having like the really huge giant characters, and then doing that Mike Tyson thing, you know, give him a little teeny tiny voice and just like give him a weird dialect or something like that, and then just like, here you go.
It's like when you have like for an example in anime, it's like when you have a character like Al from Full Metal Alchemist, who is like portrayed as a giant walking knight in armor, and then you hear him speaking. He's like,
Hey guys, my name is Al. My older brother Edward and I were looking for a mom.
it's like, oh wow, you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I just like things like that.
Again, it's that whole juxtaposition, right? It's just like not so much juxtaposition. That's not the right word. It's the
End of the world as we know it. It's like the clash of visual versus Edward. Sorry, that's how I read that, Anubis.
oh,
Big Brother Ed.
We like Edward. Ooh, Edward.
But you know, it's the clash of a visual representation against a one that you're hearing.
Bad.
But yeah, no. I just always love doing different voices and like seeing how far I can push myself with a voice.
Right.
Like
it's just fun to do a range, just to be able to reach out. And,
it really
you
is.
know, where can I go with the voice? Like if I tweak this way, if I add a lot of distortion in at the vocal end, you know, what kind of
It's
Like-
it could be like this, and then you're like, wow. What
or
am
it's
I
like if you go
talking to?
from Stitch and give yourself a lot more phlegm, you'll end up with Gollum. That's how I always pictured it in my head. Like you go from
Hannah means family.
to
Gollum. Gollum.
well,
And then-
I think Gollum's a bit more raspy, right? Like
yeah,
I wouldn't
it's a
go
lot
from
of rasp
Stitch
and
to
phlegm.
Gollum.
Like for my mind, it's easy to be like, oh,
Right.
those two are very similar. And then like there's other voices that I always tie together as well. Like if you can do Mickey Mouse, you can do Carl
Oh.
Weezer from
Yeah,
Jimmy
no.
Neutron.
That's unfortunately that's a bit out of my range. as it were.
Hang on, give me a second. I need to. I'm gonna mute my mic so you don't hear me preparing, but I will unmute it and do the voice.
No. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh,
We gotta,
oh boy. Oh, gee whiz. Jimmy's mom is a heartbreaker.
And then, like,
excellent.
as you can tell, I love doing my impressions. And there's
Yeah.
fictional characters I do, and then there's real people I do. Like, there's YouTubers who I impersonate. I say impersonate as if I'm going around pretending to be them. I clarify that I'm not them. Like, I'm not sure if you know a YouTuber by the name of Swagger Souls,
Nope, never heard of him.
but he has a very iconic voice, in my opinion. And it's like, holy fucking shit, you guys, what the hell? Oh my god. Like, that's his voice. And then you have, like, your narrator who speaks like, hello there, honey bunches, it's me, your narrator. And I just like doing their voices. It's just fun. Sorry, I got sidetracked a lot.
No, you're fine. It's just fine. Like that's what we do here on Talk Tuesday. We get sidetracked all the time. Like we'll go down different alleyways and avenues and explore different things. It's perfectly fine. Like I don't know that there's necessarily any one direction that's the right way to go.
If there is, then
No.
we'd probably know that we're beautiful.
That just sounds painful, Rose. Would you rather step on Legos or soggy, wet spaghetti?
All right, if I think about this rationally, I have walked on Lego before without getting too badly hurt, but I also don't want to feel the sliminess of spaghetti. Assuming I'm barefoot in this example, I don't want to feel the sliminess of spaghetti on me, so I would probably go with the Lego, purely from past experience of not injuring myself walking on it.
Interesting.
I know, I'm probably the weirdest one here. Everyone else is probably like, I would take the raw. Oh no, Dragon's on my side. But everyone else is probably like, I would take the raw spaghetti. I'm like, no. I don't want the feel, the texture. It's weird.
Take the Legos. Take the Legos. Sharp pain or slime. While I've not stepped on soggy wet spaghetti, I have stepped through and have walked in slime enough to know that I can live with the slime. It wouldn't faze me any. I've stepped on Legos too, and I know that I would rather not step on that bit of pain. I would rather walk over hot coals and step on a Lego. But that's experience coming in. Like I have stepped on slimy things. So we used to have to get up in the morning in Puerto Rico, and we would go out and the first thing you had to do in the mornings was go out and you had to pump water up into the barrels on top of the house through the solar veins in order for to have hot water for later in the evening. And so you get up and you go out first thing in the morning. And first thing in the morning, there's dew on the ground. There's always dew on the ground. And you don't walk on concrete, you walk in mud. So you walk in slimy things, and we still have worms down there, and they like to come up to the surface. So you could walk through the mud and could have worms wiggling between your toes. So I've done the spaghetti thing, not literally, but I've experienced it enough. And at this point, I'm like, that's whatever. So it's not a matter of, for me, it's not a texture thing. But again, that's experience. That's what you grew up with. That's going to be different for everybody.
I still pick the Legos because I have a lot of Lego. I've walked on them. I know what it feels like.
I'm
a big
not
boy.
here. I'm not here trying to change your mind. I'm just saying, for me, it would be. It wouldn't matter to me either way.
Yeah.
Like I've kind of done both. I think I would rather skip the Legos and take the spaghetti, but that's just because me and toe pain don't get along well. But that's about it. Imagine the spaghetti is just Orbeez. How fun would that be? I would say okay. I don't know.
I could imagine myself slipping on Orbeez all the time. Just falling every 5 seconds.
Your God and Anubis would like to know if you could pick your alchemist name, what would it be?
Ooh, that would be really good. Well, I would take the Flame Alchemist, but that one's already been taken by my boy Roy Mustang. I would probably go, and it would be a title completely unrelated to my field. That would be my preference, so I could keep people on their toes. I would want to be the Comprehension Alchemist, because I'd spend my free time when I'm not practicing alchemy learning languages so I can comprehend things. And so when people get into, like, a duel or something with me, they'll be like, okay, Comprehension Alchemist, what is his skill set? And then I will bust out the most useless skill in the world of being able to speak their language and tell them, haha, you should have known better than to assume I had skills. And then just waste their time for about half an hour. That'd be my dream. Comprehension Alchemist.
Fair. I guess fair. Mist Alchemist.
Can you miss me?
The Uncanny Alchemist. Ooh. I would call Green Emerald Dragon the Luck Alchemist. That's what I would call them.
It could be an assassin.
It could be. Could be a lot of things. Like, if you had to pick like an ideal fantasy job, right? We're gonna go back to you've been isekai'd into this world, and there's no magic. It's basically another world like we exist in now. So no magic. It's just an old like medieval version or whatnot. What sort of job would you find yourself doing?
Assuming the area is good for it and it's stable enough, farming, because it's a income that is always going to be stable so long as the area is stable. And on top of that, if it's medieval, I'm going to blow their fucking minds by teaching them farming methods from our time. For example, a lot of farms in medieval times didn't do crop rotation, so their fields often lost nutrients between harvests because they'd be putting the same crop into it over and over again.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of times now you'll have like a 4-crop kind of thing, where you'll have, say, like potatoes in one field, carrots in another, and a third crop, and then a fourth field that's just blank. And the reason why is you're letting the earth recover, so you'd switch those around slowly. So, like, the potatoes would go to where the carrots were, the carrots would go to your third crop, the third crop would go to the blank would go to where the potatoes were. And you'd get better results. And on top of that, your food would actually end up tasting nicer because you're not just draining the nutrients for that specific crop all the fucking time. But I'd blow their minds. That'd be my goal. They'd be like, I don't know, this weird ginger guy showed up the other day and, well, he taught me how to plow my field. And then he said a lot of other things I didn't understand and made me feel weird.
But mostly, he came in and plowed my field.
He kept saying, sorry about that, I can't help the innuendos. I don't know what that means. He what? But yeah, no, that would be
okay. It's okay.
that would be the job I'd go for. What would you pick?
I would be a minstrel.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. I would, there's always cause for entertainment. There's always cause for somebody that can play. And so as a minstrel,
I'd give you free food when you stop by my farm.
You can make your way in the world, travel around, and keep people entertained. Don't let the feral take over like a werewolf. Growl.
Like a werewolf. Ew, woo. Excuse me. No.
Yeah. Babs is not a fan of that word.
But yeah, no, that would be what I'd pick.
Not a fan is putting in. Hey, Sewage, welcome in.
Hello.
Fantastic. We are at the nearing the top of the hour. It's been almost 3 hours. Can you believe that? All that fun almost done.
Oh my god, 3 hours?
Time
No,
flies
this
when
has
you're
been the
having
most
fun.
romantic date you've ever brought me on.
You're welcome.
You sure know how to treat me.
I do my very best. But you do still have a couple more. No, don't ever end. You still have 2 final questions, and then you have to do the most difficult decision, and that is to select where you want to send this collection of absolutely fantastic people to. So,
Don't you worry, I already have that one in mind.
you've already selected it. He's like, yes, that is the one thing I've already decided on. It
I
is
had that
valid.
picked out because I know how your Talk Tuesdays end. I had that one picked out from the
Ahead
get-go.
of time.
I actually just I made sure he was live tonight, and I was like, perfect. I know who we're going to.
Excellent. That's what we like to see, right? So we're gonna start out with the first one. You know, you are a haphazard streamer at best, but still a lovely
Yes.
streamer. Go catch the VODs. That's the way I have to catch up on some of his antics. Is I have to go back and watch the VODs.
Deleting all my VODs now. Forever.
Too late. I've already seen them and I've downloaded a few of them.
Wait, you downloaded them? My God in Himmel! 9!
Yes, I've downloaded them, so you can't get rid of them. And I am currently slicing and dicing them. We're going to turn these into a collection of Liams. Like a Liamnisms.
By Jove, he's gone mad with power. Of course I
This is
have. You ever try to
mine.
go mad without power? It's boring. No one listens to you.
Exactly. Nobody cares. They're like, yeah, whatever. What is he going to do? Nothing. Nothing, I say. And then I discovered that I had the power.
My God, he's gone mad.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I believe there was meant to be a question here.
There is. We've been waffling about, but it is fine. It's fine. Do you have? We asked the same question to everybody. Do you have any upcoming like big plans, announcement, things that you're planning on doing for your stream? I don't know. Just whatever.
I was thinking of streaming. No,
I'm
don't
thinking
hold
of streaming.
me to this because I.
Oh! He was thinking of streaming. Get ready, guys. Get ready.
You shush.
Write it down.
Don't make
Get
me
your
come over
calendars out.
there. I was thinking
Get ready to
of
market.
trying to stream a bit more regularly than I currently do. And the reason I say that is I was thinking at the very minimum of maybe streaming every second Saturday. So not this Saturday, but the following one, because I should be free up until 11:45 p.m. my time, which would be around 6:45 p.m. for you. And I was thinking of maybe trying to do that a little bit, and
You heard
seeing
it
how
here
goes.
first, ladies and gentlemen. Liam has agreed to doing a more permanent schedule. Write it down on your calendars. Get ready
No.
for the fun. It's going to be an excitement
No.
engine going. Let's go. Let's get ready. It's party time.
You're saying all that, and all I'm thinking is, well, I'm no stranger to disappointing folks, so this is going to go well.
It's fine.
I'm gonna
It's
say it.
fine.
People are gonna be like, "Where's Liam?" I'm gonna be like, "For fuck's sake, stop buzzing me." Insert that one fucking meme where it's like, "Why are you booing me? I'm right."
Insert
I'm s-
open mouth, insert foot. Got it. Check. Done. Handled.
But no, I was thinking of trying to stream a bit more regularly because people have wanted to have me stream, and they've said before, we'd like to see you stream a bit more regularly, and
People
maybe a good way
need
to.
their Liam fix. Give it to them. They must have it. Every last bit of it.
But yeah, I just think it'd be fun, and I've already found a game
Yeah.
that I want to try streaming for a few weeks, maybe. Coffee Talks. I played it in my last stream. And that one's fun because it's like character interactions, and none of them have voice actors, so I get to read all their voices and do the voices myself,
Right.
which is great for some characters and horrendous for others.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the thought process here is if you had to pick a game that you were going to play a bit more regularly and actually do on stream, would you do one that's more story involved where you can do your own character acting, as it were, or would you do something that was a little bit more already pre-scripted out, less you having to talk and more just letting somebody else talk?
I would like to do ones where it's ones that I can do the voices for, because then I'm not feeling guilty if I interrupt a line of dialogue to read something in chat out loud. Because for me, I would like to be able to read it without having to worry about, oh, if I read it silently to myself and then address it, like minutes later, I'm going to feel like a bit of a dick. But if I can stop doing the voice for a moment and be like, ah, yes, thank you for coming into my stream, Poop Loser 69. Thank you for being here. That kind of stuff. I'd like to be able to interact with chat, because especially when in my last stream I had so many people active to the point where I got an email from the Streamlabs thing being like, hey, your interaction thing went up by like 400%. I was like, yeah, because people just randomly showed up.
They kept coming in. I couldn't get them to stop. No, go away, go away.
Like I think I was like 45, 50 minutes in, and I got raided, and I was like, well, I'm only here for an hour and a half of a stream, so like you guys are showing up just after the halfway point. I'm sorry. Like you can ask the people who were there. I broke for like a solid second. I was like, what the fuck? Who are you? I felt like Patrick when he comes home to the rock and he sees all the eyes underneath it, and he's like, who are you people?
Help, help, we're being invaded. I mean,
But yeah.
no, don't do that to us. Don't do what? What did I do now?
OMG, Patrick voice mashes. I agree. It does mashes.
I didn't do the Patrick voice. I don't have a Patrick voice.
Yeah, I was the Patrick. Who are you people?
Yeah. Get your voices right. I didn't do Patrick.
Oh, East. I thought you said West. We will. We will.
I didn't know such thing. No, I was behaving myself.
Liam is killing the Patrick. That joke is a lot funnier to me than you realize. Nori, I'll explain it to you after why I find it so funny. I don't want to say it on the stream.
You're fired. You've been fired. Apparently can no longer do any more Talk Tuesdays. Well, it was lovely doing this last Talk Tuesday. Y'all take care. We're out. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, I'm due to be summarily executed, I think, after this by a group of people who keep buzzing me.
Fired.
I'm actually the new host for Talk Tuesday.
There you go. I've just been prepping him. You just didn't know.
This was a trial run to see if I could actually hold a conversation for longer than 5 minutes. And thankfully, I held it for at least 5 minutes and 1 second. So.
Prepping, you say? Yes, prepping. Preparing.
Patrick running Talk Tuesday, could you imagine that?
So, where did your name come from? What's your favorite type of jellyfish? Mine's the one that stings.
I think you might almost be onto something there. Almost.
But yeah, I know we're getting. Oh, do you want me to type the name of the guy?
Hold on. You're fine. Like we're due to end, but we're not end like right away. It's fine.
No, the second I see 2:59:59, I'm gone. No, I'm joking. But no, I've had a wonderful time, so I do appreciate you having me on here.
This is what we do. But you still have one more question that you have to get through before you can like dip out.
Yeah, sure. What's the question?
So we always ask everybody at the end of it, if you had to, and you can take your pick on this one, right? So it's either you can look at it as an earlier version of you or as a brand new streamer coming in, whichever one makes it easier for you to answer the question. If you had to give a single piece of advice to that individual about streaming and getting started in streaming, what would have been that one piece of advice? You're like, oh, if I had just known this then when I was starting, that this would have made like life so much easier. I've been like, yes, haha, you know.
For me, it would be that because when I first streamed, my biggest thing was I kept focusing on the number of people who were coming in, which was a bad hang up of mine. Like if I streamed for 4 hours and there was like 2 people, I felt bad because I was like, oh well, no one wanted to show up. So I'd go back to myself and I'd say, don't stream because you expect people to be there. Stream for the people who are there, even if it's just you. That's all you need. You don't need to be worrying about more than one person showing up. You just need to be able to be happy that you're playing a game that you want to play. You don't need to worry about, oh, will I get more than just myself in chat? Will I get over 10 people in chat? Don't stream because you want to have high numbers. Stream because you want to be happy with what you're doing. So that would be the advice I give myself.
There you go.
And then
There's
I
nothing-
charge myself $9.99.
Yes, $9.99. For $9.99, you too can feed a small streamer out in the middle of South Africa. I'm just kidding. Seriously, don't take that seriously. But no, in all honesty, that's really good advice, right? If you're going to stream because that is something that you're enjoying doing. Stream. Don't look at the numbers. Don't try to figure out how many people you have out there, whether or not they're talking or they're lurking or whatnot. In the beginning, everybody starts out with a small crowd, and you keep at it. You do it regularly, and as long as you're doing it because you're enjoying it. Like, I'm not a big fan, and I've said this on more than one occasion, that I'm not a big fan of going in and watching a streamer that all they're doing is yelling, cursing, and screaming because they're not having a good time. They're frustrated, they're angry, they're irritated. Like, it just puts a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. And for
And
me,
it's not good content.
For me, again, like even when I stream now,
Mhm.
like I no longer find myself looking at that number in the bottom right hand corner. I no longer look for a red 1 or a red 2. I start the stream. I'll talk to myself if I
No,
have
I'm
to,
red 5, damn
and
it.
then I play the game. Red 5 standing by. I almost sent that gift to you earlier, and I was like, no, he's probably expecting that. I'm going to send the the bootleg Chinese subtitle version because that's what that GIF is from. The game time started. That's from the Chinese bootleg version where they didn't have an English translation. But yeah, no, like I no longer find myself looking at that number. I find myself focusing on the game, and I'll talk to myself. And then if someone pops into the chat and says, "Oh, you're live. We didn't expect you to be live for another 400 years," I'd be like, "Hey, welcome in. Thank you for stopping by. How's your day going?" And then make small talk like that, because you can have a conversation, or you can have your own company.
Yeah.
And either one should make you feel at ease. You should never feel like being by yourself when you're streaming is a bad thing.
No,
Like,
no.
yeah, sure, it might suck that you don't have people in your stream. But the point of you streaming isn't to get viewers. It's to show that you love doing what you do.
That's right. Demonstrate your talents. Demonstrate that you are having a good time, and go about doing it. And again, remember, all of the really popular guys, well, they all started in the same place you did, and you are, and it's time, it's energy, and it's effort.
Like every famous YouTuber or Twitch streamer, or everyone who's ever decided to try and use Kick for some reason, they all started somewhere. They all started with that one guy who pops into their videos if they were a YouTuber, being like, "Hey man, good video. Can't wait for the next one."
Yep.
They all started with that, and as time went on, they got popular. Like, look at I'm not sure if people will understand this reference. Look at people like The Royal Viking or um, Moist Critical. Those two,
Mhm.
if you go back and look at their older videos, apart from people showing up and being like, "Wow, I went back to see what his first video was like. This is so crazy." His first, like their first videos are usually just them talking to themselves because that's what they were doing. They were commentating on a game. They'd talk about like, "Oh, hey guys, I did this today. Blah 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 blah. Look at this cool trick shot I pulled off," and that's it. Goodbye. And it's only because they got a big following after a while that they started being more talkative and talking about topics that are going on in the world or talking
Mhm.
about things that are going on online. They didn't
Yeah.
all start off celebrities, they started off as people. Not to say that celebrities aren't people, even though that is technically true. No, I'm joking. Um,
You heard it here first. Liam said it. Must be true. Celebrities are not people. Dum,
But
dum, dum.
everyone starts somewhere, and you get to pick your starting point. Just
Yeah.
make sure that's a starting point that you can look back on and be like, I was happy that I started where I did.
Just move forward with no regrets, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the trick. Be
Get out-
satisfied with what you're doing. Don't put yourself out into an uncomfortable position. Move forward at a pace that you are comfortable with, and be true to yourself and what you're doing.
Just do what I do.
Cancel.
And ask
Oh, yeah.
yourself. Just do what I do. And every time you open your mouth, ask yourself, are you someone who Samwise Gamgee and Uncle Iroh could look at and appreciate?
Oh God, no, never.
I always try to be like, I'm going to live up to their expectations because they were like my moral compasses growing up when I was a kid. I was like, these two, like Sam stuck by his friends. He went through thick and thin for everyone. Uncle Iroh went through terrible stuff in his younger years. And as he got older, realized I need to be there for the next generation to make sure they don't do what I did. But yeah, that's
There you go.
that's my stuff anyway.
Yeah. No. We're gonna do this anyways. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we're gonna find out. I think you've got a few of these that show off, but we'll see. Anyways, we are going to
no,
do.
please.
Yeah. Oh yes. No. You don't get away
No,
from
no,
this.
no.
This is not how
No,
this
no, no,
happens.
no.
This is not how this works, right? So the
I want you
first
to
is
insert that
there-
Punisher meme here, being like, no, wait.
No. So the first bit here that we do is the Twitch-based shout out. So it should put a little heart up in the top of your corner if you're not following. If that is showing up, then you have done it wrong, my friends. Period. Plain simple. You are living your life wrong. Hit the button, join that winning team. It's lit up for me, so therefore I did it right. You're enjoying Imperasis, aka Liam. Wow.
Lloyd.
It's
Hello,
all the L's.
Lloyd. Dad.
I'm enjoying the L's in the name. La la. Repent.
Man, you should see some of the Welsh names that I've seen. There's
Oh.
William. There's
So
have you ever seen the name Llewellyn?
Yep. There's a gentleman I hang out with, AMCom Nanos, who is Welsh, and he's filled me in on a lot of their words, and he even can say there was a weird train station that's got this really stupid name. And he's like, oh yes, I can say that one. And I'm like, wait, you actually can? Holy crap!
Are you talking
he sent it
about
to me.
Via Bulgan Go Go Go?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that one's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
actually, I want to. You've
Mhm.
asked me questions all night, and now we're on the topic of names. I
Yeah.
want you to try and pronounce one Irish town name, okay?
Negatory, not happening. I already know better than this.
No, I promise I won't make fun of you. I'll give you the correct pronunciation afterwards. I just want to see if you do the same thing all the other people I know do, which is try and pronounce it completely phonetically.
that's exactly the way it will happen too, because that's the only way I know how to read it. I can already
go
tell
on.
you where this is going because I've seen a
go on,
number
don't
of
worry.
those towns.
Don't worry, bit of banter. Bit of banter. Go on.
Bit of banter. We're wrapping up,
Just
Mister.
try-
Bit of
just try
banter.
and
No.
Just
See.
No worry. Just look at try. Just try.
Is that Don Locher?
No. So in
whatever.
the Irish language, a lot of times a GH will not actually make a sound like what you're expecting. So the first word is done,
Yeah.
and the second one is leery.
So you
I know.
basically just hopped off the AOGH and like, yeah, we don't need any of that. Skip it.
Welcome to Ireland.
Yeesh.
Like
Like I said, it's not the first time I've seen those names like that, and I'm like, yeah, no.
like for example, another one I'm going to show you. I'm not going to ask you to pronounce this one. I'm just going to tell you how it's pronounced. So this is how we say hello, and you're probably thinking to yourself, "Oh, that's pronounced dia do it," and it's not. It's the first word is dia, but the second word is not pronounced with a G sound. It's pronounced or with a D sound. It's pronounced with a G sound for gwitch. Dia gwitch. The Irish
Okay.
language is beautiful. You love it.
There we go. I was like, I had something I was typing. No, that's
No.
that's not right. There we go. Imperasis. There we go. We like to give everybody a. We'll see if it'll actually do it. Oh, we get that. No, you didn't have any clips. You were safe. We like to try.
No,
and
I do
show
have
off
clips.
Oh wait, nope. There it is.
Oh no.
Like, are we gonna?
You gotta see
Well,
my pro sniping here. Look at that. Look at that for just 2 misses. And
I saw you shoot through the guy's ankle first. Like you squeezed
Yes.
off a couple shots at his ankles, and then you were like all around his helmet. And you're like, yeah. I'm like,
So I think that was a stream at like 3 in the morning, and I was extremely tired. And I popped off the first 2 shots and missed, popped off the second 2 shots, and I just went, please, no one, for the love of God, clip that. And someone immediately went, don't worry, Liam, I'm going to clip it right now. And I was like, thank you. I hate you.
So that's the magic word with chat. You realize that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm aware.
You say
Every time I've said
don't
clip
clip
it, they
that.
clip it.
It gets clipped. Forget about it. Hang it up. It's done.
One of my favorite ones that's been clipped and has since been deleted because it got cut off on Sandy's stream and it came out really fucking weird when they cut it off. But there was one point where I was streaming and it was like one of my first streams after getting affiliate, and someone cheered a lot of bits really quickly. I think it was
Right.
something like I think they cheered about 10k within the first like hour of me going live. Like 10k bits. I was like, what? Where are you getting all this money from? And they kept cheering. And I just went and I stopped and I did a deep exhale of breath because I had told them to stop cheering. They didn't have to. And so when I
Mhm.
did the exhale, it came out as just like a growl. And that was the part that made it onto Sandy's stream, not the follow up of please stop doing that. I appreciate you, but you don't have to.
just Liam growl.
Yeah. And that was the stream before I became a moderator as well. So it was really like that clip plays, and then like a week later, people are like, "Oh, he's a moderator now."
Yeah, apparently he won the growl off.
Crazy.
Amazing.
No, she made me a moderator because she said I was a very approachable individual in terms of like how people interact with me in the community. So I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
I will 100% do it.
People will choose their moderators for reasons that is unique to them, and being asked to do moderating, like being a moderator, you can choose to turn down it if you decide you don't want to do it, if you don't want the responsibilities. But
I was more than happy to do it because Sandy has always been like very nice to me, and for me,
Sandy's lovely.
she was my gateway into this like intertwined community of so many different streamers. And funny enough, the guy who I want you to go to is the one who got me to Sandy's stream in the first place.
Well, there you go.
So
Stick the name
this
in
is
there so we can go.
basically Yeah. Do you want me to type it in
Yeah,
chat
you
or
just,
in
you can just stick it
RDMs?
in chat. Yeah, you can stick it in chat. That's fine.
Okay, cool. So this is my buddy Gentle.
Now,
Hey,
is
Tara.
he still going?
Oh, he's still going.
Oh, okay.
He's live. He's playing Destiny 2, and he's sitting at
Interesting.
10 viewers right now. And I really want to blow his mind by having just as many people who are willing to be here go in with us.
Oh, he's fine.
He's a
He's
really
fine.
nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
No
He's
ads.
a father of 3. I'm the godfather of his kids as well, which is fun.
We see.
And I
we
can't
see.
wait to just annoy him.
Right. That's the best part about it, right? You know, what's not to love about being able to torment and torture your friends.
He was also one of the 4 guys who I had the thing about getting to affiliate with when I originally started. He's the one who's the
Aha.
most consistent and still streams.
Aha, we're gonna go get even with him.
Yeah. I'm going to put him even further into my debt.
Liam, this has been an absolutely delightful evening spent with you, my friend. We still need to sit down and figure out the Pharaoh conversation, but we'll get that
Oh, yeah,
worked out with the other guys, and we'll get
I
that scheduled out.
already know that I've been told that if I'm doing that with you, that I have to have the mic closer to my face. So instead of talking like this, and I apologize in advance, I meant to talk closer like this.
I see.
Yeah.
We just need to get you a mic with a gain on it, so you can just turn the gain up.
Oh,
And you don't have
I've
to-
got
you don't
gain
have-
on it. I can turn it up like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
But
see?
that's probably a lot. So
You just turn that up, so you don't have to eat the microphone. I'm a sound engineer, as one of my many different skill sets, and I can't stand it when people want to eat the microphone. Like, dude, I can turn the gain up. Take your head
but
away
what
from
if I
it.
want to eat the microphone? What if I'm hungry, Nori? Have you ever thought about my wants and needs?
Oh, I can tell you, you're not going to get filled up by chomping on that bit of styrofoam.
I'll have you know, I'll get filled up on whatever I want to. Innuendo intended. But yeah,
What you decide to do in your spare time is entirely up to your own decision.
but yeah, thanks everyone for stopping by to watch my Talk Tuesday. There was a lot more people than I expected, and all the questions were really fun to answer.
We had a good time. You've been a lovely, delightful guest star for this evening. We appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come and hang with us. And we look forward to even more amazing content being brought to you when you start regularly scheduling. Amazing.
Amazing.
You have to work on it just a little bit. Amazing. It's in the back. It's in the back.
Amazing. Amazing. You're gonna have to pop that amazing command like 5 times. I got him to do it like 5 times.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yes, we are going to go. So if you want to hang tight with me, we're not going to go anywhere just yet. We've got a few more little last ditch things we have to do real quick. The first one is, of course, that's the end screen. I love doing that. Like just right in the middle of it, it's like, yeah, it's great, it's fantastic, and then there's the end screen. It's like, wait. You snuck that out on us. Yes, I did. By the way, that people can still hear. You're still live. The music's playing. We can still continue to talk and whatnot as we get planned and ready to go. If you guys have been enjoying the Talk Tuesdays, don't forget our next Talk Tuesday happens not this week. No. It happens a week after. It's going to be March 4th with All Out Nerddom. We'll be right back here again for another fantastic session and more people to interview, more questions to ask, more deep.
My favorite Star Wars reference. March the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. Exactly, right?
I'm aware. March the 4th be with you, Nori, please.
It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fabulous. Again, Liam, thank you ever so much.
Thank you for
have been
having
a
me.
delightful guest.
Thank you for having me, and I'm sorry I was such an enigma of a guy to try and find out stuff to question about.
You know what? I still got you nailed just fine.
Oh, nailed, you say?
That's right. Nailed to the fence post.
I didn't mean to moan like that in your ear. Um,
There is the raid command. We spit it out there. The first one's for all you fantastic subscribers. The second one's for all you fantastic followers. Whichever one you can use, grab it, copy it, get ready to spam it. We're going to go say hi to the Gentle Beast 27. We're going to go laugh at them because we learned all about the deep lore on Liam tonight. They have failed to do this, so they suck. And we get to go rub it on their face. It's going to be a good time.
He is an affiliate. I'll give him that much. But he got it after I did.
Any last parting words you would like to say to these fantastic people before we take off out of here?
Each and every single one of you has the potential to bring joy to someone's life. And if you don't think you do, then you're not looking hard enough, because you are all exceptional people. And I hope you all have wonderful time zones wherever you are in the world.
And with that, we'll see you all next time. Bye, folks.
Bye.